observe these buggies, they make me sick. Cause they don't get whole wheat shopping in Iceland for like 25 quid. These is sweets and chocolates, no fresh fruit, herbs, or veg, just processed meals or packed in boxes. It's for my bird's eye bitches, dirty skirting balls, dirty ovens and dirty fridges. No long ting beans on a hot oven, 15 minutes. Bird's eye mums, raising bird's eye daughters and bird's eye sons. The only time you eat fish is when you eat fish fingers. You don't eat fish around breadcrumbs. These bird's eye baby mums are like cooking, they're always in a rush. The full chips in the oven, put a bedtent down, turn these standards off and cut some onions up. No chopping board, just a tray and some oven gloves. No time, no coriander, just mayonnaise and ketchup. These bird's eye baby mums don't want me to blow. They pray for my downfall. They want me to flop. They know they'll perish when I get the bird's eye flow on lock. And my mixtape drops. They're gonna have to give the kids fruits in the morning. The truth is, they wanna give them cow's milk and cocoa pops. You can see them in as the Tesco, Sainsbury's, these kind of places. Chicken dippers, baked beans, spaghetti hoops, smiley faces. Yo, it's my bird's eye bitches. Dirty skirting balls, dirty ovens and dirty fridges. No long ting beans on a hot oven, 15 minutes. It's the alkaline Nisa. I'm not the bird's eye baby mum pizza. Come to your crib, you know what it is. I'm checking out your fridge, I'm checking out your freezer, 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 freezer. I'm checking out your fridge, I'm checking out your freezer, 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 freezer.
Consciousness is the greatest mystery of science. The mathematics is broken. Of course, the TBC continues. And this is the paradigm of all spiritual traditions, that we are immortal souls. If we want to know about this mystery, the last people we should ask are materialist reductionist scientists. They have nothing to say on the matter at all.
Yeah, hold on when I draw for the Force. Jedi, Rebel, Star Wars. I then slay metaphors when these fools lay down foes in 10-page drawers. Spring out flows in a lyrical war. But that's old, quick draw McGraw. Nah, back to the Force, it's the power that binds us together, of course. It's why the massive rave together in hordes to feed off the energy source. A crowd of people move to the music in sync. Emits a norm beyond what you think. The body is a vehicle, more than flesh. Just the first stage of the next step. Don't be afraid to pass the last test, cause life is another part of death. And I'm done, I can't spill the rest. After this it's mad complex. Quantum mechanics and a shame and flex. Physicists don't know where the spirit is. Scanning brains, running tests. No explanation from mainstream section or any religious sect. Yo, I'm never gonna lie, it's a big concept. From the grave to the cradle, I'm willing and able. I won't conform to the norm of a label or feed the beast just to put food on the table. No! From the grave to the cradle, I'm willing and I'm able. I never put my name to a folklore fable. Gotta be the genuine article, every single molecular particle. I'm done, I can't spill the rest. After this is a mad complex. Quantum mechanics and shame and flex. I said, I'm done, I can't spill the rest. After this is mad complex. Quantum mechanics and shame and flex. Hey yo, L, they're like L, why so serious? What? Well, it leaves me delirious. All these covert attacks, in fact my brain and install a fear in us. But enough of the agenda, fear's the enemy will one remember. From cradle to grave you're a lifelong member. From the moment you enter, we're connected, feel the energy, get ready, global synergy. This choice, make it willingly. Feel what I'm feeling, so man, are you feeling me? Cause I'm speaking literally, let me bust verbal soliloquy. Listen, trust, the burden's killing me. It's my aura, discharge ability. Discharge my aura, climb a mountain, cross a border. A psychonaut in the mind explorer. Hyperforce killer lines cause torture. I spit to the max out of order. Here's the message, reach for your recorder. Your ears might burn from the scorcher. Panic on the streets cause mass disorder. Are you a player or a baller? It don't matter where your name get caller. Are you standing or a faller? How you adjust to the new world order? Well, we all make make changes. Gotta turn new pages, rising costs, lowering wages. Despite all that, the flame still blazes, and the flame's still burning on as the world keeps turning on. The mistakes we've made so far are lessons we should be learning from. But surely that's simple. Nah, we forgot these principles. Acutely too analytical. The feel from the streets, they creeps are move clinical. I'm done, I can't spill the rest. After this, it's a mad complex. Quantum mechanics and shaman flex. I said, I'm done, I can't spill the rest. After this, it's mad complex. Quantum mechanics and shaman flex.
If you think about the very nature of life, I mean, from the very beginning, the development of the first cell, divided into two cells. The sole purpose of life has been to pass on what was learned, that there was no higher purpose.
Asleep and awake at the same time. Relieve yourself from your conscious mind. You're the only one who can set yourself free. Put it all together now or be lost in reality. Asleep and awake at the same time. Relieve yourself from your conscious mind. You're the only one who can set yourself free. Put it all together now or be lost in reality.
It's like this. You walk around with your eyes shut. Oblivious to the truth, you don't know what's up. It's like a dreamscape, but in a waking state, you're all plugged in. There's no need to concentrate. Are you asleep or are you awake? This is the density where your body holds weight. The computer program, you've all got to break. This is important shit, man. Your lives are at stake. I won't bow to reptilian minions, masters of the matrix, controlling the billions. The clock's ticking, raising the stakes up, waiting for the day that the human race wakes up. Well, I woke up, I opened my eyes. Now I see clearly through the deceit and lies. To my surprise, the world is an illusion, a closely knit web designed for confusion.
Awake at the same time. Relieve yourself from your conscious mind. You're the only one who can set yourself free. Put it all together now or be lost in reality. And awake at the same time. Relieve yourself from your conscious mind. You're the only one who can set yourself free. Put it all together now or be lost in reality.
Run this, man. Ain't fucking about anymore, fam. It's fucking high time these pussies listen, man. Yo, hey yo, it's high time. Stop living life blind. The further you fall, yo, the higher I climb. If your feet stop frost, you're in the firing line. It's hard to stand up when you've got no spine. Fucking slobs, your legs are like jelly. Your soul's been sucked up straight through the telly. Don't believe what you see on the screen, cause the world that we live in is not quite what it seems. Fucking parasites, that breach every one of our human rights. They think it's pocket change, playing games with people's lives. These are the people who are supposed to revive a nation built on jealousy, greed, anger and lies. Yo, the biggest influence of life has to be greed. Everybody buying shit that they don't really need. You better follow the fashion, keep up to the speed. Fatten up that monster you continue to feed.
Asleep and awake at the same time. Relieve yourself from your conscious mind. You're the only one who can set yourself free. Put it all together now or be lost in reality. Asleep and awake at the same time. Relieve yourself from your conscious mind. You're the only one who can set yourself free. Put it all together now or be lost in reality.
I read it every day, yo. I read it every day. I read it every day, yo. I read it every day.
If we free our minds, then the rest will follow. Living on today, on the time that is borrowed. I feel it in my blood, feel it in my bone marrow. The grim man's come to reap among the shadows of our former selves. Production of the media, religion and wealth. Hysteria, they're feeding us around on our health. Swine flu with the vaccine flying off shelves. It's apparent to me we're being taken for fools. More I open my eyes, the more I see it for sure. And you gotta be wise, life is ever so cruel. So I'm gonna live mine by my own set of rules. So fuck what they say now, fuck what you see. Fuck all that bullshit they put on TV. In a world that's obsessed with the paparazzi, you're the only one who can set yourself free.
And awake at the same time. Relieve yourself from your conscious mind. You're the only one who can set yourself free. Put it all together now or be lost in reality. And awake at the same time. Relieve yourself from your conscious mind. You're the only one who can set yourself free. Put it all together now or be lost in reality.
Yeah, for all the dilly ass fuckers out there, this one's for you. I see you talking but nothing's coming out. From the flourish of a seed, one made to believe everything we hear on radio, what's on TV. Feasibly, easily joined by media makeup. Societies of blood in a comedy can't wake up. It's time to break up this network of lies. I delve a little deeper, then I start to realize clinic, Botox and HP and glue. Didn't even want it in the first place. That's your first taste of your first disgrace. You can get murdered away from what you heard today. Or war with the guts, so turn or stay.
Asleep and awake at the same time. Relieve yourself from your conscious mind. You're the only one who can set yourself free. Put it all together now or be lost in reality. Asleep and awake at the same time. Relieve yourself from your conscious mind. You're the only one who can set yourself free. Put it all together now or be lost in reality. Lost in reality. Lost in reality.
How do I put it? It was like, what do you care about them? What do you care about those people? What difference does it make to you? Take care of your own life. Do the best you can for you and your family. What do the rest of the people mean to you? They don't mean anything to you. They're just serfs. They're just people. You know, what's the end goal? The end goal is to get everybody chipped, to control the whole society. They want a one-world government controlled by them. Everybody has an RFID chip implanted in them. And if you're like me or you, and you're protesting what they're doing, they can just turn off your chip.
Hello, are you a sentient meat suit operator who has fully rejected clown world? Well, you're in the right place.
Rise above, generate, rise above, extinguish fear, rise above.
Big shout out to Andy PG.
Good evening, Lance Michael Steen.
Andy PG Berg. First of all, how are we sounding, guys? Me and PG are live in effect. It's Friday night, it's 8 p.m, and that can mean only one thing. We're back with another episode of Rise Above Live. Tonight is episode 148. Andy PG, you do realise what this means. We are only 2 episodes away from what?
From the Ralphabet.
Yes, we've made the promise and we always keep our promises here.
We need to update a few things. We need to add some things. We need to change some things.
Every 50 episodes, we have to go and we have to revise. We have to update.
It's for the peasants that don't follow, haven't seen the earlier stuff. They don't really know all the lingo that we talk.
Absolutely. I tell you what, speaking of people that don't understand our lingo, right? I've told you before, and I mentioned on the show before, that when I'm at work in the office meeting and greeting customers, every now and then, well, not every now and then, any time that 2020 is brought up, I slip scamdemic or plandemic just into the sentence really slyly. Well, I did it with this customer. I won't name him. His boat's called Gift, right? He was in the office and we were talking about the changes in the boating industry, and I said, well, you know, since the pandemic and where every man, boy and dog went and bought themselves a boat, and he's like, yeah, scamdemic. And I was like, oh, right. And then my mum was sat there. My mum turned around, she goes, did you go to the Britney Spears concert? Code word there. Obviously, my mum doesn't use that code word. She said the naughty words. He's like... He just looks around. There was no one behind him. He looks around and goes, did I fuck? And I was like, right, you'll enjoy Rise Above Live.
Did you promote him? Did you give him a better berth?
Well, mate, before I didn't need to promote anything before. I know he was talking about ancient Tartaria, asking me what shape I think the realm is in front of my mum.
Yeah, nice.
So, yeah, it was awesome. So, big shout to, you know who you are if you're tuned in right now. He did actually phone up the office earlier on and said, did you say 8 o'clock? The show's on. I was like, yeah, 8 o'clock. 8 p.m. Friday night, Rise Above Live.
Radio Michael.
Come on!
People are saying the volume is a bit low again.
You just turned it down when we were in the intro. You said it's too loud.
No, I turned down the volume of the music.
Right.
Can I get some more feedback? Are we sounding okay? I'm just going to turn our mics up a bit because it might as well. Put on to 40.
We've got a peasant reporting for duty here, Michael.
Oh yeah, who's that?
33. Something says 7 something. 3327.
JD77 is saying get Lance's mum to Rise Above Live. Do you know what? My mum
came to the first 2 events.
They came, my dad came along with my brother. Is that some feedback? Let's see. Can I see what Becky's saying? 'Cause
Volume is fine.
the volume is fine.
Thank you, Becky,
If
yes.
you think we're a bit quiet, it might be in relation to how loud we had the music. So turn your TV up or your smartphone. It will be absolutely fine.
Turn the system up. Windows down,
Crank
system
out,
up.
yeah, crank out the system. Peasants in the front, NPCs in the back.
That's it. NPCs aren't welcome here.
No, they're not. Let's share the screen. Let's share the screen because, as I'm sure everyone is aware, we have got one of our sort of fast up-and-coming favourite guests, I think.
Yeah.
Not many people make it onto Rise Above 3 times.
No, they
This will be Matt Landman's 3rd appearance on the show. He's coming up later on. Kieran D says the volume is fine, but I'm on my 33rd beer.
Wow, heavy drinking.
So does 33 beers make things quiet or more loud? I'm not really sure. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to chatting to Matt. It's always a pleasure. And I'm sure we've got quite a few things to talk about.
Nice thumbnail, Lance.
Yeah, this is a nice thumbnail. Do you want to talk us through this, PG?
It took us 5 hours to make. We did it on Peasantron. No, it was an hour. I think it was an hour.
Yeah, it was over an hour.
So what we've got here, we've got Matt Landman looking very unamused at the Tartarian airship hosted by Rabbi Shmuley.
It's flying on behalf of Israel.
Yeah. And it's polluting the London airwaves here, polluting the skies, as you can clearly see.
I guarantee the guy from the boatyard has already turned off thinking, what the fuck are these guys talking about?
The Rise Above logo there is actually white. Rabbi Shmuley's polluted it so much with chemicals, it's gone urine yellow.
Yeah, we made this one live on Peasantron the other night. Do you know what the really annoying thing is, PG?
What?
When we recorded that, I left the... Ooh. Why is it saying that?
What's going on?
No. Source not shown. Try another layout. Okay, sorry. Restream keeps changing what it's doing, and basically it confuses me.
Continue, Michael. Back to where you were. You were.
Yeah, where was I?
You said the problem with the thumbnail.
When we recorded this, we forgot to turn off the audio on the screen share. So we put on the background music when we do the thing. It had a rather trippy skipping effect. It had like do you know what? It sounded a bit like Magic's style trip hop. You know how Magic plays three tunes at once? It's going all over the place. Yeah, so that was the thumbnail for last night. Guys, there's so much interesting stuff in the Rise Above calendar coming up. The next one...
The calendar.
The next one is the 2nd of May in Bristol. We are playing at Richard Ryder's rave. It's called Incognito. He is newly stepping into the realm of rave promoter. A rather dashing...
It's a heavy lifestyle.
It's a heavy lifestyle. It's a brave move. Big
Good
up
luck,
Richard
sir.
Ryder.
Good luck.
The ultimate entrepreneur. And also...
Put a fat lineup together here.
Yeah, he certainly has. Sub-Zero, Enter, Temper, Sharky, Rise Above, Daydani, MC Shabadi, Fat Mandy, AD, Charter, back-to-back with Double L.
That's a good lineup.
Let me tell you, unbelievable.
If you've never been raving in Bristol before...
I've never been raving in Bristol.
Lakota is pretty much one of the most decent clubs. It's one of the the most sort of well-known clubs for having big raves there anyway. So big shout out to Richard Ryder. Really looking forward to getting down to business with Andy PG on the decks at Lakota on the 2nd of May. Go to Lakota.
Heavy drum and bass.
.co.uk to get your tickets. Yeah, it's really that simple. It's really that simple. We also need to let you know that this show is in conjunction with a crypto coin called Dr. Kimchi. And this isn't some who-ish pump and dump scheme. Oh no, this crypto coin is made specifically to promote cures for CANCER, the big C.
Excellent.
And exclusively the type of cures which are not funded by Bill Gates, Lord Schwab, the Wuhan Holocaust Organization. These guys only fund alternative practitioners, literally saving people's lives fighting the big C. So far, they've already given away at least $60,000. That's
I reckon that when's the last time you spoke to Don?
I haven't spoken to him in a while. He's probably like in like fucking Buenos Aires.
Yeah,
or something
of course. Santorini.
Yeah.
I reckon they've given away another load because it went right down again, the same as it did after they gave away the initial $60,000. It went right down. and then it builds it back up. They give a load of coin away and it goes.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
That's
that's how it works. Because I think obviously what they do is they give the coin to the practitioners, then the practitioners sell them for cash.
That's right.
So that once you do that, you bring the value of the coin down.
Currently 146 peasants
That's not
tuned
bad,
in,
not bad
Michael.
at all.
Don't forget, guys, share the stream to your nan. Let her know it's on. She might have forgotten.
Okay, here's the really interesting and important one. Everyone knows how successful and sick and amazing and groundbreaking the first
King of Sting. Bristol. Ever heard of Wigan Pier?
I've never played on Wigan Pier yet, King of Sting.
No.
But I will savour that day. As you can see, we've got some pictures of the last event at the bottom here. The next event is already...
it's well underway.
It's well underway. We've got Martin Leakey going to be there, Flat Earth British. He's there for the whole weekend. Multiple presentations from him.
He's going to be absolutely loving it.
He's going to be absolutely leathered. Like,
yeah, he will be.
Yeah, mate. Martin is...
Dude was dressed like Willy Wonka when we met him.
Mate, he was Willy Wonka. He was magic was bursting out of him from every angle.
100% it was.
So it's a 3-day event, bigger, badder, better, at Hotel Celebrity in Bournemouth. You know the score. Friday the 22nd. I say Friday, Saturday and Sunday. There's stuff right up until midnight on Sunday. So Monday is the go-home day. It's a full 3-day event, not a 1-day event like last time.
Pamela Swan is saying she needs the link for this, Michael.
I'm going to put the QR code on the screen, and I'll tell you what, Pamela Swan, if I put the link in the chat, I'm sure you can copy it. Is that the case? Let me just get... Yeah, I've got the ticket link right here. And I'll tell you what, while we're on the subject of this, for anyone that wasn't lucky enough to get along to the last event, I'm going to show you what it looked like, because we have the after video. Big up AJ Sideswipe.
Sideswab.
Sideswab. What's this one? Yeah,
What's your name? How are you? What are you doing here?
I'm
Amazing.
Fifi.
Yeah.
I'm from Swanage, just over the water over there.
Yep.
Met up with these guys a few years ago through Magix, who I'm friends with his mum, and they all came together through music, and then we had a meeting of minds.
Rules, regulation, improbable laws. Rules, regulation, no just cause. The first and immovable object become an unstoppable force.
Greasing codes, greasing codes, greasing codes, greasing codes inside the Leviathan, inside the Leviathan. They make the rules, they make the rules, they make the rules, but we got the game plan. Greasing codes, greasing codes. Greasing codes inside the Leviathan. Bear witness to this phenomenon. A clear sickness as it's coming on. That's their business. So I carry on beating my fist on the walls of Babylon. And it's vicious, if you're a vagabond. In the British Isles, it ain't Avalon. The ambitious escape to the Amazon. Life is malicious, climbing the echelon. So we gotta break them chains, do personal best and make them gains. It's a hurtful mess, so abstain from eternal threats on a long campaign. Enough stress, but we don't complain, and I'm hopeful, so I won't refrain from a global test. Gotta maintain on a mobile flex with no disdain. Greasing codes, greasing codes. They make the rules, they make the rules, they make the rules, but we got the game plan. Greasing codes inside the Leviathan, inside the Leviathan. We're up against an immovable object. Greasing codes, greasing codes. They make the rules, they make the rules, they make the rules, but we got the game plan. Greasing codes, greasing codes. Up against an immovable object, placing bets on illusional odds set. Yo, it's cruel from the onset, killing you slow is the usual project. Still thriving despite the drawbacks. Ill writing, designing formats. This life gotta ride it raw back. The mind's climbing, not wiping the floor mat. Greasing codes inside the Leviathan, keeping watching the ice conspiring. Catch wind, sound up the siren. Using the flames in the furnace inspiring, not expiring, expanding, inquiring to gain understanding. A fall from the top equals a crash landing. Don't get fooled by the devil's rebranding. Greasing codes, greasing codes. They make the rules, they make the rules, they make the rules, but we got the game plan. Greasing codes inside the Leviathan. We're up against, they make the rules, they make the rules. Greasing codes, greasing codes. They make the rules, greasing codes. They make the rules, they make the rules, but we got the game plan. Greasing codes inside the Leviathan. Greasing codes. They make the rules, they make the rules. Greasing codes. They make the rules, but we got the game plan. You ain't with it, get out the way, man. Short-sighted, take off the Ray-Ban. Sourcing ethical goods, not name brands. No bait plans, we execute. Blueprints get comb with a fine tooth. The control system is not absolute. Revealing the truth is the way to recruit the youth. Collating a man to the proof while they're stacking a man to the lies. Cracking the code is eternity striving. Like drinking the fountain of life. Like a rhythm that I'm already riding. Aiming to bring down the house in tonight. The mic's hidden with imminent rising. When I draw this run, big alive. Greasing clothes. Greasing clothes. Greasing clothes. Greasing clothes inside the Leviathan. Greasing clothes. Greasing clothes. Greasing clothes inside the Leviathan. The Leviathan. Greasing clothes. They make the rules, but we got the game plan. Greasing clothes. Greasing clothes inside the Leviathan. They make the rules, but we got the game plan. Greasing clothes. Greasing clothes.
No, they can't hear us. So the good news is, well, I'll tell you what happened. We released 33 tickets for this next event on Patreon.
For our
you
top
know,
cult
right,
members.
Patreon cult members get everything first, whether it's what we're talking about, whether it's the tickets, they get everything first. We released 33 tickets at a massive discounted rate of £33.
For the entire weekend.
That's 3 days.
£11 a day.
There's going to be more guests, more talks, more Raw Academy workshops. We're going to have speed dating.
We're going to have Magic's
Boomer Disco.
Yeah.
We're gonna specifically cater for the crowd that aren't into drum and bass and garage and dubstep and grime.
We're gonna have some live music.
We're gonna. I think we're gonna at least have someone playing something, but we're definitely gonna have Magic's Boomer Disco. He's gonna be keeping you all happy. So 33 tickets sold, literally within 3 hours. They couldn't sell fast enough. As soon as I put the post up, my phone was just going ding, 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 ding.
Lance, we've just got an order here on our website.
Someone has just bought the first ticket, Rise Above Live in the Flesh Part 2.
That's right, guys.
The tickets can you say their first name?
The tickets are live right now.
Big shout out to Karsten.
Yeah,
Karsten, you have got the very first ticket. And remember, it might just be Martin Leakey now, but I've already got another big guest in the works. Wisdom of Mushrooms are going to be playing a much bigger part in this event because the feedback was so good. And I think in about 15 minutes, we're going to have a quick chat with Tom from Wisdom of Mushrooms as well. So yeah, tickets are already selling. Get on them now. This is the QR code.
They're on the website. So what's the discount? Like, going for £50.
They're £50.
Yeah, and how many are we doing at £50?
100 tickets.
100 tickets at £50, guys. We've got a
3-day event for £50. Oh, you?
And what's the entire capacity? We've got 350 peasants allowed.
Yeah. I want to get 350.
So that's we've only got 100 tickets, guys, at £50. £33 tickets have all gone. So after that, it's going to be £75.
Which is
200 tickets,
which is still
only.
a bargain for how much we're going to cram into this weekend.
And that's for the entire weekend, and that's it. There'll be 200 of those, and then once they're gone, they're gone.
That's it. Boom. Rise Above Live in the Flesh Part 2. Get your tickets now.
Michael.
Do not hang about. Why is it not doing it? I was trying to move the screen. There we go. That's better. Yeah, so what's another way to support us? Get some merchandise. This is a picture of the merch store at the last event. Big shout to the Empress. It was fucking dope.
Hey, I put everything up in there. The flags.
You put the banner up, did you?
I put the banners up.
Yeah, so there's going to be new, even better merch at the next one. Bank holiday.
Exclusive
August.
merch.
Yes. Yeah, so, you know, if you want to support us, get some merch. And obviously, don't forget about Patreon. You'd have to be a right peasant to not be on Patreon right about now. For only £3 a month, we put out 2 whole extra videos on there that you don't ever see on YouTube.
We jump back into Rabbi Shmuley on Wednesday night.
Yeah, we're always watching Rabbi Shmuley.
Unfortunate as it is. It's a dirty job, guys. Somebody's got to do it.
Let's look at these comments here.
It's quite disgusting.
JD7, are you having a Sam Smith room? I might make a request to the hotel that they redecorate one of the rooms with Sam Smith. I think that was a good shout.
Can we not do that?
Yeah, so get on Patreon. Here's the QR code. There you go.
We're going to have a chill-out room.
Yes,
somewhere.
we are going to have a chill-out room. We're even
somewhere.
going to have a few stalls for only the finest wares So stall holders, if you're interested.
Shout out
in
to Gina.
one of our veterans. Oh yeah, don't forget, when you go onto Patreon, the best thing is you get the whole recording of the event, 4 hours. That's Sheep Farm, Mark Devlin, and our amazing presentation, problem, reaction, final solution.
And obviously, once we do the next event, you're going to have that recording on there as well.
Yeah, you get everything on Patreon.
It's going to be a hell of an editing deal for you, Michael, on that one.
Yeah, it will be. Problem, reaction, final solution is not suitable for YouTube. That's why it's on Patreon. That's why you need to be on Patreon too. Okay.
Did you show the... yeah.
And so, let me make this bigger because we might have some new viewers that haven't seen this before. And let me also get rid of this QR code here. This is a meme that Future Goes to 3000, one of our top memeticians.
Very occulted.
Literally, I would
very
say,
elusive.
You know, he's in the right in the upper echelons of the meme cult. This guy knocks out roughly 1 or 2 memes per month, per calendar month. And when he does, they're excellent. This is the one. He was a front row for our presentation, right at the front, literally right in front of us. And this is what he came up with. And now I'm not going to explain the contents of this meme, all the different aspects, the connotations, the references. You need to go and watch.
I'll just say that the
this.
What's coming? Yeah. Yeah, this is what you need to get on, guys.
I packed so much into that slideshow. We could barely get through it in the hour and a half that we had allotted for problem, reaction, final solution. I seriously think, PG, at the next event, we should do a part 2 to this.
Like we do, but we're doing 60 slides maximum.
All right,
60
maximum,
slides
60.
maximum. Because otherwise we couldn't delve into it enough.
No, we just overloading people.
I'm banning Lance from any more than 60 slides.
I overslid. Let's start off this week's fun with a nice meme. Meet the Rabbis. Have you seen this one?
Mm-hmm.
This is Russ Kieran's work. Big shout out to Russ Kieran. I guess he was watching our Patreon and hearing something that we were talking about.
Of course he did.
Which, gave him the inspiration.
This is a highly orthodox meme.
It's a highly orthodox meme. Okay. Oh, what was... Right. Next. Right. We need to give a big shout. Is that another ticket?
Shout out to Stuart.
Stuart!
He has hit up another ticket.
I'll tell you what, Stuart, I haven't forgot you, mate. You did win the raffle. I know you had the winning ticket of 203, and I have got your goodie bag here. I am definitely going to the post office next week.
203.
Yeah,
203. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, 203.33. I've got your gift bag here, mate.
The tote bag.
The tote bag. It's got
There's a beanie in there. You got
beanie,
stickers, a
lanyard,
Christian Reich CD from Brian Sanders.
Yeah, you've got the new lanyard in there as well. So that's going to be on its way to you next week. I've already got your address,
What else are you
Stuart.
putting in there? Should we just chuck him something off the shelf?
It's already got everything off the shelf, one of everything.
Excellent.
Right inside the CD. What, do you want to chuck the Star of David snow globe in
No,
there?
absolutely not. I might give a bottle of Prime.
I'm not posting that. Look at
There's a bottle of Prime up there. We'll give him one of them. We'll throw that
see
in.
the light emanating from the Star of David.
Yeah, of course.
I'm just see if I can point to it. There, look.
Yeah.
Look at that. Big shout out to the people that gave us that Star of David snow globe at the last weekend.
Lance's wife wasn't actually too happy that we brought that
She's like,
sigil
that is
into
not
the
coming
house.
into my house. So she's like, I'm not having that.
It's protected by the Albavarizian vortex, which is around it.
It's neutralised. It's neutralised by our vortex. Good work, PG. Okay. Right, we need to big up...
More right, as the Christian right. Great segue.
Yeah, great segue to the Christian right. Now, look, a big shout out to Joe Ward. Joe Ward has come on the show a number of times.
He's one of our favourites.
He's one of our favourites. He's a guy who puts his money where his mouth is. He doesn't just talk about things. He actually goes out there and tries to make a difference. So big shout out to Joe Ward. And here, I don't know if you can see him in this picture, but don't worry, we've got some videos.
Baz, I've just seen your comment when the baseball caps come in. Come on, mate, you know what we're doing. We've just released beanies for the summer. We'll obviously release baseball caps for the winter.
Yeah,
that's
of course.
what's going on here, right?
I have got the Raw Academy baseball cap up there. There's only one of them in existence.
I've been specifically asked to shake the globe. Anyway, carry on, Michael.
Go and shake the globe, PG. So yeah, right. So Joe Ward is known for being an advocate for survivors of child abuse and sexual abuse. He is working with people. Could you get me the cold one, please? That particular cold one is the one that I want. He works with people that are victims of SRA, satanic ritual abuse. And like I say, Joe, we can never knock him. He's a guy that goes out there and does it. No, this protest he's at here, I think we covered this maybe last week, or we just mentioned it, that there's Tom is logging in. All right, big shout. We'll see you in a minute, Tom. There was a protest. No, sorry. What was the thing that actually happened? The teacher tried to ban.
So yeah, we covered this last week.
Tried to ban Easter, right?
The teacher tried to ban. Well, she did ban Easter and put in an all-inclusive diversity.
Was it like a refugees week?
Refugee week, some kind of shit for everyone. That's like, you know, but they specifically took away Easter from a predominantly Christian country, well, which once was. So Joe Ward has gone and said no, along with some friends. We got the video.
Oh no, we'll play. Sorry.
Yeah, no, go on, play it.
No, we'll play this one first. So this is the thing we're talking about.
There's Joe. You can see Joe there, pretty much front and centre.
Who's the king of Iceland?
Jesus is king. He's got his Easter bunny ears on.
That guy in the middle, is that not one of the politicians that you've been talking about? He's not Reform, he's that other new group, and he's also anti-boatman.
I can't. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah. You showed me a video of this guy.
Right. This is the new. Is this UKIP?
I think this guy is UKIP.
I think this is. Yeah. I think he is UKIP. Or he was from UKIP and he started his own one. There's a radical new one which I'm going to present on Peasantron. There's a whole new political party which is like where's my Keir Starmer?
What's it called? Like National Action
it's
Party
it's actually racist.
It's clearly racist.
But I'm going to be presenting that on Peasantron.
Anyway, we haven't finished watching the video.
No. Jesus! The king of Saudi Arabia! Jesus!
We've got a vicar here to the left.
Jesus! Who's the king of Afghanistan?
Now, obviously, this.
I mean, they're shouting, "Who's the king of Afghanistan?" Jesus, I'm not really sure that's entirely accurate.
Well, I think the point is,
I get it.
They say that Jesus is the King of Kings. Now, obviously, when this first happened, I said quite openly on Facebook, I was like, "Listen, I'm certainly no Christian. In fact, I've been a massive critic of Christianity and the whole ethos of Christianity in many regards, but I can see why it would very much upset people that that a school was banning Easter, which is that's quite a big celebration at school because you have like eggs and stuff.
Yeah, and it's the only bank holiday where you get the Friday and the Monday. It's like a 4-day weekend for the peasants.
Yeah, they love it.
So you can't ban it, man. There'll be uproar, as you can clearly see.
Yeah,
I think this is like one small little village. Is this the actual school where the initial perpetrator of the
outside
Easter...
school? No, this is the actual school where it happened.
So they're actually at the place. Yeah. Obviously, you've got a vicar here on the left, probably the local vicar. He's not having none of it.
But did you notice, and I'm not saying anything against Joe here, but did you notice there is a nationalistic right-wing Christian undertone with this?
Yeah.
Who's the king of Afghanistan? Jesus. Who's the king of Africa? Who's the king of Pakistan? That's Jesus too. It's like you can see, I
think, if I'm honest, they should have just stuck keeping it English or European. Like they shouldn't have. Don't go for the Middle East. Just keep it as it is. It's already touchy.
Yeah, but I think that if it was me, I would say that's why he said it, because it's sort of like, our King of Kings is king of where you're from too, whether you like it or not, immigrant. That's what I got.
Mate, I agree. I agree that they should not be pandering to any of these other fucking religions. All religions are bullshit in my eyes. It's complete mind control, religious fucking dogma. It's all bullshit. All
That's
needs
why
to be
I
put in
don't
the
feel
toilet.
bad about criticising what's happening with radical marriage and stuff.
It's all
because
cubism.
I've already been a massive critic of Christianity, and obviously we criticise Judaism.
Yeah, it's fucking right.
It's like,
Jesus Christ, that's the worst one.
Yeah, I mean, all desert cults.
Arguably, that's where the other two came from.
Yeah, well, I would argue that Christianity and Islam are sort of like the Punch and Judy puppets.
Well, it's different side to the cube, Michael.
Yeah, of course.
Different side to the cube.
Anyway, so it didn't stop there. Joe got a little bit deeper when these Antifa type people started accosting him in the street. Check
As you naturally would.
As you would, yeah.
I will answer every single question you've ever had. I will answer every single question you've ever had. I will answer every single question you've ever had. I will answer every single question you've ever had. Your people wiped out 5 genders of my culture. 5 genders? Right? 5 genders.
Wait a minute. You people. So who's she talking to there? Is she? I guess she's a non-white person, you would say. She's very light-skinned. Is she speaking to the white people there? You guys killed 5 genders. What does that even mean?
2 genders.
No, there aren't only
There
two
are only
genders.
2 genders.
That's because you're a white supremacist.
I'm not white
Yeah,
supremacist.
you
You've
are.
been calling me
You
names
are.
all week, so I've
Yeah,
got
I
one
have
question
been
for
calling
you.
names
I've
all
got
week.
one
No,
question.
right, my
I've got
brother.
one
It's
question
Ben
for
Cardi.
you.
Do you know what a patriot is? It's a
I'm
British
a third-generation Indian immigrant as well. No, wait a minute.
It's so great. Like Joe Ward is just like, I'm also a whatever generation immigrant too, and it's like he just owns them so
Wait a minute,
hard.
because you've been calling your man of names all week on Facebook, so now I've got a chance to reply. You've been wanting me to reply, you've been tagging me, so let me reply to you. I've helped over 3,000 victims, including victims of grooming gangs. So if you knew that, you wouldn't be calling me the names. How many victims have you helped? How many victims have you helped? How many victims have you helped? How many people have you helped from domestic violence? How many people have you helped in social services? When was the last time you worked in child trafficking? How many children have you helped? I'm willing to bet that it's 0. I'm willing to bet that it's 0. You're not answering my questions. You're not answering my questions. I've asked how many children have you helped in your life? How many organisations have you worked for that have helped children? You're not answering my questions. I'll answer any questions. You can't make sense out of nonsense. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. One more question. I've only got one more question for you. Is your wife not scared to kiss you without a face mask? No? Have you had all your... It's this one over here making these actions at me. The one who looks like she's had 10... Very confused.
Yeah.
I can see that there's a load of police.
Yeah, that is that politician guy I was saying.
Yeah. I'm going to get him up.
Yeah, find out what that is.
Shout out to Tristan. He's just bought bought a
Fucking hell,
ticket.
these tickets are going quickly. Remember, the last event sold out completely. The early bird tickets sold out in 3 hours.
3 hours.
They were just because every 5 minutes, ding, ding. So this 100 release of tickets will probably last for a couple of weeks at the most. At this rate, it will last for about 3 days if people keep buying tickets like this. So yeah, big shout out to Joe Ward, mate. I do think here's a good one, guys. Who would like to see me and Andy PG going out in the street with a microphone and confronting people?
Hell, I'd like to see that.
I'd pay $1 to see that. Yeah, well, we've got the mic.
It's him. It is Nick Tenconi.
Nick Tenconi.
He looks like fucking mafia, man. Italian.
Is that a picture of him with his
That is
shirt
it.
off?
Look at him. He's a
Fucking
badass.
hench.
Yeah, he's not having none of it. Look. He's going to go...
Fucking still stand on the white cliffs of Dover beating those boatmen away.
He is pretty hench. This dude looks legit. He's not having none of it, Michael.
Send me a picture. Send me that picture. Let me show the people then.
I'll ping that over.
So I'm just waiting for this.
That's coming directly over from Zuckerberg Island.
Have you sent it?
Yeah. Nick Tenconi.
This is the guy that we just identified in that video.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, but it's...
It sounds pretty... It sounds
Tenconi.
right. Tenconi.
Tensoni. Might be Tensoni.
Tenconi sounds better.
Tenconi. With a fettuccine.
So this is the dude. Is he... Can you find out, is he UKIP?
Yeah, he's UKIP, yeah. He's the UKIP leader.
So he's like the new Farage. But he's probably a bit harder than Farage. Well, he's definitely harder.
Fucking right, he's hard. Nigel Farage set UKIP up, right? And he left because it went a bit...
Bit left.
No, it went a bit far right, I think. It went a bit too far right.
Oh, it went too far right for Farage.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think. Don't forget, Farage is controlled by Israel El. Maybe this dude's not. So fucking let him in. Get him in.
Big shout out to Oscar Hunter and everyone from Pineal Foundation. I just had to highlight that comment. What an amazing chat we had with CZ.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to be referencing our conversation later on with Matt Landman.
Oh, are we?
Interesting.
Phoenix 33.
He's got a Phoenix 33 as your handler image there.
Big shout out to Oscar Hunter.
Are you aware of Jason Arkirk's work?
I would imagine so.
I would imagine so. From a picture like that.
Big shout out to Ross Kieran with this meme.
What have we got here? 217 peasants unit. Yeah, this is fresh. I farmed this literally about 10 minutes before the show.
Just before we went live.
So the dark side of the groom, Michael.
The dark side of the groom.
The normal children go in to
the prism of woke
prison,
teachers.
And then out come the trans kids.
Start teaching the young minds of tomorrow that this socially engineered ideology is designed to create mental illness in order to further divide society and break down the family unit.
The problem is you're a fucking retard.
Big shout out to Russ Kieran. That's 2 memes in tonight's show. I do believe...
What's this comment here we've got up? Bim Jim, Joe Ward was there arguing with the liberal peasants. Yes,
Yeah,
he was. Yes, he was.
So here's a bit of a news flash. Russell Brand charged with raping woman in Bournemouth. Not just in Bournemouth. I think there's 3 or 4 in London as well. I saw West.
Right here, right now, is where we draw the line.
So inappropriate. So what's the story? It's like, was this actually 2023 when all the allegations happened?
I think so, but he's been charged.
And all of the half-baked truthers were like, oh, he's getting punished for speaking the truth.
I wonder if this is like Crown Court, Civil Court, or what?
Already
what
saying it's a magistrate's court.
It's magistrate, is it?
Yeah, but I mean...
Peasant court.
Obviously, he's a rapist. Why do people doubt that? What? Because he started saying some half-truths about the Soviet Union? No, they're trying to get him. The guy's obviously fucking dodgy as fuck.
He's clearly dodgy as fuck.
He's clearly dodgy as fuck. Anyway, let's just rewind.
He's an ex-heroin addict, mate. He clearly can't control
let's
himself.
Just recapitulate a little.
He's like
JFK.
RFK. JFK.
The Weekender.
For the record, JFK was not a heroin addict.
Wisdomofmushrooms.com. Tom, give me a thumbs up if you're ready in the green room. I've got a thumbs up. Let me welcome onto the panel Tom from Wisdom of Mushrooms and 528 Create. How's it going, mate?
It's all good.
Oh, good. Okay,
Can
we're
you hear
sounding
me?
nice. Yes, we can hear you clearly. All good, mate.
Nice.
So, mate, the last event you had, we really pulled it together at the last minute.
Like literally last minute.
Literally at the last minute. A couple of days before, I was like, do you know what? Tom had floated the idea of me of doing a Wisdom of Mushrooms Raw Academy. I didn't know how much room we were going to have in the venue. I got offered this extra little room right at the last minute. All right, let's make it happen. And you did a thing on the Friday night. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, that was Friday night.
And mate, how did it go? Because I got feedback, but I'll wait to hear how you thought it went.
Can we
first.
turn Tom up?
I will turn Tom up. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Some people said you were a little bit quiet, so I'm just going to tell
nobody
you.
said that. I said that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's because I'm
I know
shy.
Tom's very softly spoken. He's not a peasant.
Yeah, mate. How did you think it went? What was the feedback that you got?
Yeah. The feedback was amazing, and I really, really liked that. I think it was as well because the format changed, like literally last minute as well. Well, during the presentation, because we decided, well, as a part of Raw Academy, some people joined the sessions online, and like you said, last minute you had spent a little bit of spare time in the room, and we pulled together very, very quickly some, I would say, talk/seminar that meant to be it. So I prepare all the slides and all the, fancy words and everything, scientific approach to mushrooms. But then I would say 3 slides in, I was like, you know what? And I said it to people, you're not going to retain half of it because this is completely different. There's a completely different reason why you came here. And let's just talk. And we had the conversation more than just focusing on the scientific side of mushrooms. So we went through some real life examples. There are things that I am, my experiences, but also experiences of the people that I'm working with. We had Q&As which went really well. If there's anyone who's now watching or listening and be part of it, I had amazing feedback and very heart-to-heart conversations as well. And you could hear the pin drop in the room because everyone was so focused and so locked in. So I think it's a very relatable subject because it's not only about what the magic mushrooms are, but what it can do to to us and how it can help us with in this overstimulated world where half of the people are medicated, literally, and everyone running on some kind of level of depression and stuff, and people are realizing that maybe not everything. Well, the whole raisable thing is uncovering and lifting the curtain for people, and some people can hit really big, I would say, identity crisis when the bubble bursts and the world isn't what we thought it is, and then all of a sudden everything is connected with everything, and especially with childhood and shit. So yeah, I would say that. By the way, if anyone is watching who was there, or anyone who would like to join us, because I didn't do the talk that was planned, and the talk was about the psilocybin and serotonin, and the serotonin function in our brain and body, and how it works together. This, like as I promised, this talk will be for free. But you know what? Let's do it this way. People who attended the talk, I'm gonna send them link, but I'm gonna give you as well link, okay, to this, and give it to your Patreon people.
Oh, awesome! So we can put it on Patreon.
Yeah, and it will be something that we're gonna do completely separate, but in terms of the obviously, if you want me to talk a little bit.
So let me just get this straight. Yeah. The presentation that you plan to do at the Weekender got sidetracked because basically you said you were doing like a sort of a group therapy session for people that are exiting the rabbit hole. But the presentation you were going to do is what you're going to put on Patreon.
No, I'm gonna actually give you a link, and we're gonna do the Zoom. We're gonna do the proper Zoom meeting, and I'm gonna give this presentation to people who attended for free, and from your Patreon as well.
No, that's awesome, mate. That's awesome.
Yeah, and someone asked about there is a good also not to be confused. Well, there is no such a thing as a depression as I just read. Sorry, I just read the comment.
No, that's fine, mate. Get interactive.
You see, this is the thing that we've been lied about the depression, and it's now celebrated, and to the point where people think that it's a disease. It's not. If you're depressed, you need deep rest. That's it. And another thing is that our body is sending us notification. Pay attention to something. Pay attention to something. So this is literally what it is. And if you got some apps installed by the world that is not your own faults and not your beliefs, then obviously there's a system error and something is pushed. Then the system is like, do something. That's literally anxiety and depression. In a very, very simplified way, obviously, we can go much deeper into it. But yeah, with the Weekender, I think that we're gonna go deep into the mushrooms. What is it? What is not? Also, microdosing, the whole protocol. It will be hands-on, literally, how to prepare yourself, the dosage, what to expect, what are the misinformation flying in the public space about it, how to do stacking, what to expect, and the first-hand experiences and the accounts from the people that I work with. Then we're gonna go through the therapeutical side of mushrooms, how to do it, how to prepare it, what to expect, and then ceremonial as well, because those are completely different things. We're gonna touch as well on the latest studies, because it's not gonna be only spiritual, mystical side of it. It will be everything that is up to date about the studies and what's going on in the mushroom world and when everything is heading, because spoiler alert, it's gonna be reclassified soon here in UK as well. And then extend Q&As, because people value this Q&A so much. Like they are like mini therapies, literally. Just to have a conversation with some people. By the way, one thing, Lance, I don't want to spoil anything, but will Sam be involved as well?
Yes, I can
'Cause
announce that now. Sam, we've managed to secure Sam only
Uh-huh.
for Friday, so that's Toroidal Dynamics. A big shout to Sam, who's in the comment section right now.
He's the next room. He's literally there,
right.
so he could join. Yeah.
Oh right, okay, yeah. Sam is
Yeah.
going to be doing, I think, a sound and breathwork journey in the small room that you. Yeah, it will be awesome. That's going to be on the Friday night, because then he's got to head off to another festival, I believe, for some sort of guided
And
ceremony or something.
My question, I don't want to put you on the spot and stuff, but
okay.
I saw that there is a demand for the different genres of music, right?
Yes. Yeah, mate. No, you've got a set this time, 100%. Oh, big
Hey,
shout
guys.
to Sam, to Toroidal Dynamics. Look at this.
I just, yeah.
All
I
of
just
our
passed by and
Academy
say hi,
All
man,
Stars.
instead of hooking up.
Can you hear me?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, big up Rise Above crew. Looking forward to seeing you at the weekend.
Yes, like we said, Sam will be featuring Friday night to Toroidal Dynamics, a journey through breathing and sound. Looking forward to that. A good way to set the tone and set pace for the rest of the weekend. It's going to be pretty hectic. Last time, we only really had like a meet and greet on the Friday and then the big event on the Saturday.
Yeah.
And people were staying up 24 hours, couldn't stop talking with each other.
That's why we had to put on a longer
Couldn't
event.
stop interacting. Some people were literally still there on Monday, like a whole day after the
Dude,
event
people are
finished.
still there on Tuesday.
Mate, some people have already booked into the hotel for 5 nights.
Wow.
Yeah,
That is
they're
hardcore.
coming on Thursday, leaving on
Hardcore.
Tuesday.
Someone just recognized my headphones in the comment section. Yes, they are industry standard, and this is what we use in clubs, or we're using in clubs.
So, what would you say the genre that you play is? Is it techno?
So you see, this is the thing that you know what we did. So I'm at the Winchester. So I was running 7 different nights: techno, tech house, some heavy bass stuff, and places like Ministry, France, Poland, UK, and stuff. That was 20 years of my life. But I would say the bridge from, let's say, very soft house, deep house, funky house, go to progressive, then some tech, and then techno minimal. Let's do it.
Yeah, I think we need that. I think you would actually fulfill a good slot on our lineup there, because I think at one end of the scale we're gonna have like fucking boomer music from Magics, and then we'll have what we normally do. We need everything else in the middle, and I think house and tech house and that kind of stuff is something we're lacking.
Are we done talking about Wisdom and Mushrooms? Are we talking about the event now?
We're just
Are
generally
we
talking.
going to get the Rise Above band, Lance?
We'll see.
We'll
see.
Well, you can always jump on the banjo and shit and start playing.
We had a band.
No.
We had a band at
I can
Equinox.
clap.
Specifically talking about the Rise Above band that played at Equinox.
We'll see how well the ticket sales do, because obviously booking a whole band is quite pricey.
Yeah.
So we'll see how the ticket
We
sales
could
do.
get Rich Rider, Lost Dice.
Well, Rich Rider's going to be. Oh yeah, Rich Rider's going to be doing a Raw Academy 2 all around, making passive income online, online entrepreneurship, and being a digital nomad. He's going to do a refresher to the Raw Academy he did, I think 2 years ago now. That was very, very popular. All different ways to make money online. So we tried to keep all bases covered. Tom, you're coming with the healing and the therapeutic nature of mushrooms. We're teaching people how to make money online.
We're going to go full conspiracy far right retards as well at the same time.
Yeah, we're going to have Martin Leakey, who's like the big, ancient history, flat earth British guy. So I think we've got a pretty good spread already, but there's going to be more to
There's
come.
more. There's loads more to come.
One bit of feedback I did have about your Raw Academy was it wasn't long enough. They wanted more.
Yeah.
So are you going to be around for the whole weekend?
Yeah. Because we're gonna plan it properly. Like that was super last minute from my side, and we didn't even know the size of the room. But it's usually like that, especially on festivals when I talk on festivals. But people will get a lot. They will definitely leave the weekend changed in some way. We're gonna shift the perception of the, not only with what's going on and with the current affairs, but we're gonna go deep. And I can bet on it, because I'm gonna share with people over I would say 100 of the very, very deep trips and the truths that I brought, and it works so much. I shared a little bit with people, and like I said, there was literally you could hear the pin drop, because there are certain things that are universal for all of us, no matter what we think and where we're from and all this stuff on the, I would say, the soul level, and there's so much to share. And then and people who attended, I can try to convince people and maybe promote it, but the best is for other people to as well talk about this, about their experience. And like I said, people in the chat, go and sign up for the Patreon, and you're gonna then have a teaser of what we're gonna do at the weekend, because I think that even the online, the Zoom thing will be super valuable.
Yeah, so check it out. That's another great reason to sign up to the Patreon.
Is that Matt there in the green room?
Yeah, Matt, our guest, is in the green room. We'll be with Matt in about 5 or 6 minutes. We're going to have a short break by playing a music video. So hold tight, Matt. You can make yourself a coffee.
Okay, I'm logging off now because I've got my stuff to do. And yeah,
great to talk to you, Tom, man.
Yeah, mate, thank you very much. Thank you for sorting out the tickets. Thank you for doing all the merch, and thank you for being Wisdom of Mushrooms. It's a valued part of the RA community. Big shout to you, mate.
That's Full Metal Rabbit.
Right,
nice. Good
take
choice.
care. Take
Good
care,
choice.
mate. We'll see you soon.
Word to your nan.
Rise above, generate, rise above.
Right, so as you know, our special guest, Matt Landman, he is in the digital green room. We're going to be chatting with him very shortly. We're just going to take a short break, which involves one music video from man like Inspector Veg. I was speaking to the Veg on the phone today. Big shout out to him. This one, we played the news tune Fully Autonomous last week. This one is Inspector Veg, Beat That Bully.
The food is fake, the medicine's fake, the education system is fake. They want you fighting with the force in your head all day long so you never get a break. They don't want you meditating in the sunshine with big fruits hitting by the lake. They want you dumb down so you listen to Drake. They want the teenagers to all self-flake. They're gonna give, they're always gonna take. They want you in as the spine a steak. They're gonna share one slice of the cake. They ain't even gonna follow the rules they make. They ain't even gonna follow the rules they bring on the 1-4. You better know that I'm a king when they kill the indigenous to make us all prisoners. And that's the real reason I do my thing like breathe out, bullet, and a breathe out, bullet, and a breathe out, bullet when I spit. Breathe out, bullet, and a breathe out, bullet, and the bullet still talking shit. Breathe out, bullet, and a breathe out, bullet, and a breathe out, bullet in the booth. Breathe out, bullet, and a breathe out, bullet, and a breathe out, bullet with the truth. Your food and your religion, I ain't gonna embrace that from a prison. If your curriculum teach our kids, they ain't gonna help us out one bit. They ain't gonna help us go, don't watch that box, don't need the remote. Speaking of freedom, we need to revolt, can't turn a blind eye, cause I see the assault light. Welcome to the Inspector Vet Show, where the NPCs get their head blown. You must me with headphones, doing it big like pack when they did it on the west coast. 5 C's, I'm swimming in the river doing breaststroke. You know how the rest goes, as a dose sit straight from the shelf in Tesco's. Complex sugars and bread rolls. Breathe out, bullet, and a breathe out, bullet, and a breathe out, bullet when I spit. Breathe out, bullet, and a breathe out, bullet, and the bullet still talking shit. Breathe out, bullet, and a breathe out, bullet, and a breathe out, bullet in the booth. Breathe out, bullet, and a breathe out, bullet, and a breathe out, bullet with the truth. I don't eat Kellogg's, I don't do covers. That's not me, that's more for the others. Stay healthy, well away from the hazards. Last 10 years I had so many salads. The Babylon concrete, it's a big challenge. Fast and pray what to find the balance. Thanks to the Most High for all the talents. Speak the truth, see what happens. Booze is better than herbs, that's stupid. Alcohol is shit like the news is. Hitchhikers make the choice who chooses. So we gotta ask who wins, who loses. Herbs is better than booze, that's my view. Don't let the group entice you. Stay well away like I do. Purify the body, man, that's how I grew. Breathe out, bullet, and a breathe out, bullet, and a breathe out, bullet when I spit. Breathe out, bullet, and a breathe out, bullet, and the bullet still talking shit. Breathe out, bullet, and a breathe out, bullet, and a breathe out, bullet in the booth. Breathe out, bullet, and a breathe out, bullet, and a breathe out, bullet with the truth. Breathe out, bullet, and a breathe out, bullet, and a breathe out, bullet when I spit. Breathe out, bullet, and a breathe out, bullet, and the bullet still talking shit. Breathe out, bullet, and a breathe out, bullet, and a breathe out, bullet in the booth. Breathe out, bullet, and a breathe out, bullet, and a breathe out, bullet with the truth.
Yeah, we're back. We're back. Big shout to Inspector Veg on that track.
Inspector Carrot, my man.
Inspector Carrot in the house. Okay, so we're back. It is Friday night. This is Rides Above TV. And like I mentioned a little bit earlier on, we have got a special guest with us tonight. Matt, if you could give me a thumbs up to show me that you're ready to join the chat. I've got the thumbs up from Matt. Okay, Matt Landman has been on the show twice before. He is famous for being the creator of Frankenskies, being one of the first people to really start blowing the whistle on chemtrails. I'm very excited to have him back on the show. Welcome back, Matt.
Come on.
Hey guys, thanks so much for having me on. A pleasure. And that last song was pretty great, actually.
You like that? You like that? That's
Yeah,
that's
I
one of
love
our mates, Inspector Veg.
Yeah, I love the beat.
It has been noticed that you have a bit of a soft spot for it's a UK slang and some of the way we talk and yeah, our slang over here. Someone was saying it in the comment section earlier on.
We speak beautifully here, Lance.
I love it. I think it's hilarious. Yesterday I was on sheep farming, and Christian said he was out with his nippers, right? And I had to look it up because I figured he was out in his underwear. I didn't even say anything, but nippers is now it's a new word for me. Yeah, I love it. It's hilarious. Like nipping at your feet. It's so good. Like there's just so many words that are just like brand new to me, and it's kind of like I'm a kid with it because it's not like I got to learn a new language.
Matt, you should
like,
learn.
it's
You should get into and start researching Cockney slang. You'd love it.
It sounds good to me.
Cockney
is that a
London
region?
slang. You'd love it.
Is that a region?
Yeah, it's a region of London. It's like East London. It's sort of like this old school mythical part of East London. It doesn't really, people don't speak like that anymore from there. They speak like, what's up?
They did.
What's up in it, blood?
They speak like a fake Jamaican retard.
Yeah. But yeah, proper. Anyway, right.
No, and it's great because you all get to throw around words that I would never be able to say, like twat and cunt. and then I get to say shite, and it's not really like shit. So I get to,
That's more. We've kind of adopted that from Scotland. That's more a Scottish thing. Shite. Yeah, they like that up there.
I think what you've just pointed out there is quite interesting, though. The fact that just changing the intonation on one of the syllables of that word from shit to shite, it does somehow like. What's the word? It sort of de-weaponizes
changes
it a
the
little
meaning.
bit.
It changes the meaning of it. Yeah.
No, it's not the meaning.
Yeah.
It's still meaning
it
the
does,
same
but
thing.
it's like a lesser of two evils. Isn't it?
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not a curse word over here. It's just fun. Where I'm at, it's like. But if I say shit, then I'm just like. I also love taking the piss. It's just one of my fucking favorites. I don't know why. It's just great. Taking the piss. We don't say that. We don't say that either. But it's funny.
Yeah, I must admit, when I watch like American TV or a movie, and when you hear an American person in a movie say the C word, say cunt, it sounds really weird. You can't, and or like Australians, it sounds totally.
Oh,
normal.
mate, the Australians say it the best. The Aussies say it the best, man.
Yeah, they out-cunted us on that one.
Yeah.
So Matt, it's been. I looked back on YouTube, right, because I said this is the third time you've been on the show. It's actually been 5 months since we last spoke to you. So I guess, like, all things considered, probably a good way to start off the chat with you is let's have a recap about what weather events and what crazy shit has gone down, since we last chatted, because the things that we were talking about on the last couple of appearances, they haven't gone away.
No, they've only gotten worse. Last time that we came on, we were talking about the hurricanes that were acting very abnormal, and people were waking up to, like a lot of people in the world were waking up to weather engineering just because of a couple hurricanes that did things that they never do, like go into the mountains and then flood out certain communities. Certain communities seem to have a bullseye on their head. But since then, a lot has happened. The fires in LA were a big awakening for a lot of people, especially myself. I had been through fires in a town that I lived in. Where I live now, it was like 4 or 5 years ago, but we got some crazy fires in the middle of the day, crazy engineered winds, smart meters seemingly exploding and whatnot. And when the firemen showed up, the hydrants were all empty, just like in Lahaina, Maui, just like in Paradise or Palisades. Probably in Paradise as well, California, but Palisades, LA, like LA just got this crazy facelift since we last talked. And what I started learning was I consulted this firefighter because I'm working on Frankenskies 2. I'm working on a sequel film from my first film that came out in 2018. So check that out, frankisguys2.com. Hopefully I can get that cranked out in the next year because it is coming together. But I consulted this firefighter and showed him the wreckage of the fire, which a lot of the low-income neighborhoods are still just rubble from 4 or 5 years ago. They're still just unbuilt rubble. You know, they're not in any rush to rebuild like low-income homes. You know what I mean? So those people just get pushed out of the community, really, is what happens, because it's not affordable for them to live here anymore because they don't have their opportunities for, you know, housing. But what I started to learn is these lithium batteries. So this is all part of the New World Order agenda 2030 and whatnot. So it's very important to like put the pieces of the puzzle together, and especially like being the chemtrails guy, and I'm an EMF kind of guy as well. The chemtrails, like it's like this octopus hydra with all these tentacles and all these little facets of the different aspects that are attacking us. You know, like fluoride is connected to it, and the farming and all these different things, aluminum resistant genetic seeds and what have you. And like the chemtrails play a big part in all of it, especially with the fires. They're spraying fire accelerants. Like whenever you guys get a break in the UK from chemtrails and you have like shorter trails, it's because they're spraying barium. They're spraying fire accelerants to get these fires going, because that's part of the big agenda. Point finger fires and say it's because of global warming and whatever, and we need to be, you know, and pushed into smart cities and whatnot and away from the trees. Really, the chemtrails is like a big play in it. But I learned during the LA fires that these lithium ion batteries are like a big player in this whole agenda. And I ended up having a post go super viral. It got like featured on a bunch of big shows, including the show called Redacted. I don't know if you know this one.
Yeah, I know.
Big show in the States, and they like got a hold of my post.
It's Israeli shield fest.
Yeah, no joke. No, it really is. I didn't even know about it, and then I started following them, and I was like, they're completely controlled. But I got like 5,000 followers like immediately, and they're all shite. All the followers were absolutely shite because I started talking smack, and then they all disappeared. I got 5,000 followers, and then they all disappeared like overnight, like the next day when I was talking bad about how absurd the new administration is over here with RFK and Trump and Elon Musk and what have you. But these smart meters, they have batteries in them that are lithium ion batteries, and these lithium ion batteries are being used all over for this new green bullshit energy thing. You know, bullshit. Sorry, it's a new word now. So I patented that word. That's my creation, bullshit.
I like it.
So then, yeah, right. It's all right. It merges two continents. So what's going on is we have like electric vehicle car fires, and they're like burning so hot, nobody knows what to do about them because they have these ruptured lithium ion battery cells like going nuts, and they burn up to like 4,000 degrees Celsius, something insane. Firefighters can't put them out, and they have to like literally close the road and wait for these things to burn themselves out. There's stories of them actually taking down a whole concrete parking garage because one Tesla lights up. I've seen and watched videos and stories of people's e-bike, like bicycles that run on these lithium-ion batteries. The batteries can rupture and then cause these crazy fires. And then if there's ever flooding, water in contact with lithium batteries actually makes things explode. And there's a video I found of someone taking apart just a little AA like battery that's lithium, and then they put it in water and it just explodes. It's just an explosion. So lithium touching water is an explosion, and that's a whole thing. And so starting to learn about this and the fact that there's this thing called thermal runaway, where the batteries, once they heat up, I'm just going to do it all in Fahrenheit. Sorry. So 140 degrees Fahrenheit is like a really, really, really hot day. But either way, if the batteries get to be 140 degrees Fahrenheit, which is like 30 Celsius, maybe a little more, they have this thing called thermal runaway. Well, they'll just start to get really, really, really hot. And I believe what happened when the whole first the military industrial complex was in Gaza. But then when they went to Lebanon, there's this whole like pagers exploding thing. And then if you did the research, also walkie-talkies, is also cell phones and stuff. And I think that it wasn't necessarily pagers like they say. I think that they were utilizing their technology to direct energy at these lithium-ion batteries that are in cell phones. Each cell phone can like explode on demand if they wanted to, because it's got these lithium-ion batteries in it, which is the whole thing, right?
So let me just stop you there. Let me just stop you there, because the narrative was that along the way, those pages had been intercepted and had little bits of explosive put in them, right? So, but what you're saying is that in itself could be a red herring, because if what you're saying is correct, just the battery, which is an integral part of the pager, is the bomb, and they can actually be activated without tampering with them at all. They can be activated remotely.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
They can be activated remotely, and if you look at the narrative as it evolved, day one out of Lebanon, it was, we just made all these pagers blow up because of the intelligence, and they were able to track these pagers for like a year, which is insanity.
Was it Hezbollah? It was Hezbollah, no?
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
Hezbollah,
Yeah, but then the next day they started saying computers and solar powered panel like battery stations at homes, and phones. And so phones, computers, solar battery banks, these are all lithium ion batteries, and they can have this thing called thermal runaway, just like the cars. And it's by design, right? So I started extrapolating that, and I'm like, wow, this is like a weapon that they've created, and they've got everybody carrying these things around in their pocket, and they can superheat them, make them explode on them. It's not that they were able to track. I mean, the official story is that the pagers were intercepted in Turkey in like January, and then 8 months later they had followed them around, and now they're like, they didn't even know they were going to be in the conflict. It's like, give me a break. You didn't even know you were going to be in this conflict, you know, but you decided to intercept all these pagers and put explosives in them. Like, give me a break. I highly doubt that's even.
Just Matt, on a little side note, I've got so many articles up here on the other computer of iPhones. I've just done iPhone. There's so many stories of them being on charge on the kitchen counter, exploding. iPhone just caught fire whilst was charging on the bed. Ohio, fucking everywhere. There's loads of articles about it. So these lithium batteries, which we know are contained.
Hey, I saw a video the other day of in the middle of like a transatlantic flight. People in a big jumbo jet. People were chucking drinks up into the overhead locker because someone's phone up there and the battery had caught on fire.
Because they're telling you're not allowed to pack anything with a lithium battery in hold luggage that goes in the hold.
And here's the other thing: when they check you, because I used to fly to Asia a lot, when you go through the biggest airport in Asia, which is Bangkok, they check you for your battery pack, and there is a limit to how many milliamps your battery pack can be before it gets confiscated. Guess what it is? 33,000.
Nice.
33,000 milliamps.
So I think the point to take away from this is, if something like an iPhone or a walkie-talkie or a pager can have an explosive battery in it, why wouldn't the Israeli intelligence work out a way to make that remotely explode if they wanted to individually? I'm sure it could be done in this day and age we live in. And then Matt's talking now about smart meters in homes. I know where you're going with this, Matt. Carry on.
No, yeah, right. It's pretty clear, but the technology is pretty self-evident if you look at it for what it is. And then even when I go to the post office and I mail something, if it's not ground, if it's actually going to go in the air, they make me press a button that says that it doesn't have any lithium-ion batteries in it of any size. I'm not allowed to mail lithium-ion batteries.
Yeah, because again, any mailed artifacts would be going into the hold of a cargo plane,
at the bottom of a bag of mail,
just with loads of shit on top of
loads
it,
of paper and stuff.
All sorts.
Right. So in the States, we have smart meters like crazy. I know in the UK, they're trying to really roll them out, and it's a different story. What's actually really cool in the UK, which I know it's like we're all enslaved under this boot, and it's all bullshit. It's absolute bollocks, right? But another word I love, which I can't even say that over here. People are like, what the fuck did you just say, Matt?
What is bollocks?
Yeah, they say you've been in England too long, bro. And they make fun of me. But it's fascinating because these lithium-ion batteries are on the sides of everyone's homes in the smart meters. So in UK, there's a lot of different power companies, which is really cool. I think that's great. Where we live in the States, it's usually just one option. You have like some monopoly, like in California, it's PG&E, like the whole state. And so you don't really get the option of like, oh, I'm going to switch companies, or, oh, this company will let me get an analog meter, or they don't really have tabs on you as much. Like here, they know whether or not you have the old meters or not because there's only one company and they're pushing it really hard. Yeah, and they're coming to your house, like switching them out in the middle of the night without you even knowing. So people don't really realize that the utility meter on your home that measures your electricity, they come and look at, and they give you the bill, that's becoming digitized so that they don't have to come look at it anymore. And then it just sends a radio wave frequency every like 5 seconds, which is predatory. These things are evil if you look into it. But I'm just talking about the fire aspect, okay? So they send a microwave signal out every 5 seconds, like the strength of like a cell tower, blasting a signal telling the power company what you're doing. If you've got a light on or whatever, if you got a night light in the middle of the night, everyone needs to know every 5 seconds, right? It's actually crazy weird, but it's just the surveillance state being established. So each one of these smart meters is attached to the internal wiring of your home, copper, conductive, convective wiring that the electricity goes through. So it's convective in that heat can transfer through it, and it transfers the electricity through your whole house because the wiring, obviously, the electricity goes through it. So if the smart meter on your home is attached to the electricity on the main line, and if this thing fries and then the battery in the meter heats up, then you've got it ramps up to like the thermal runaway. I've looked it up in all these sources. It's about 3,000 degrees Celsius, which is really, really hot. So it heats up to like super, super, super hot. And then it heats up the entire insides of the house, burning the house from the inside out, like heating up the internal wiring of the home. And so you're like got this weaponization of neighborhoods where these fires are just out of control and burning so hot. And they're going down the line, surging smart meters down the line. And then the firemen are showing up in the even situations where the hydrants are empty. So I had people reaching out to me, and this is a very wild puzzle piece, and then we can move on from this one. Years ago, I had ex-military people reaching out to me, 2 different chaps, right? 2 different guys, 2 blokes, right? From different, paths. And they had reached out to me on different occasions with their military spec infrared goggles, right? So like night vision goggles that are military spec. And they're showing me the smart meters in their neighborhood each had individualized infrared designation flickers on them that you could only see with the military spec goggles. So invisible to the naked eye, each smart meter has this little flicker that's a fingerprint that's not identical to any other one. So it's very unique. And in wartime, this is used. The friendlies have them on their helmets, and they put the unique flicker on their targets as well for like a laser strike. So they know who to hit and who to not hit based on this unique flicker that's in an infrared spectrum that's invisible to the naked eye. So each smart meter has this. So if you were the boogeyman, the trigger word, the military industrial complex, whatever, whoever's behind all this, and you wanted to go into a neighborhood that already has fires approaching it because of this engineering, like the weather is engineered. That's a whole story. And if you don't know that, just watch my movie, and that's backtracking because we're kind of like down the rabbit hole right now. But the winds are directed towards the city, and then we've got like hurricane freaking winds like towards towns and cities that they want to clear out for smart cities or whatever it may be. And then fires are lit on the ground from arsons or precipitating lightning or whatever they do to light the fires. That's another story. But as the fires are lit downwind and the fires are traveling, great photos. The fires are traveling towards these cities. The firemen show up like they're going to do something, but then these smart meters are surging remotely, just like they surge the pagers and the smartphones and the laptops and the solar power battery stations in Lebanon. Same exact tech. I mean, where do you think Israel got that tech? Like, we work in conjunction with them, right?
And that is exactly why Rabbi Shmuley is piloting the aircraft in the thumbnail for the show.
Did you notice the thumbnail for the show, Matt? Sorry, I've just got to go back.
Matt, are you aware of Rabbi Shmuley? Do you know who this character is?
No, I don't really keep up. Oh, wow. I didn't see that.
He's quite literally the most disgusting individual on the planet at the moment.
Mate, we had great fun making this thumbnail on, Wednesday night? Yeah, Rabbi Shmuley.
So, Matt, I'm just going to stop you there because there's a lot to unpack with what you just said. Lance got a few images up.
I need to reload a bit.
That's a segue. What Matt just said there in his very last bit is a segue. Matt, I've got a question on my smorgasbord written down here for you. It says, who is exactly responsible for all of this? And you mentioned the same tech is being used to do this in the West as it was in Lebanon by we all know who. We call them the little hats here on the show. You can just go ahead and call them that if you like.
Yeah.
So is that So is that the people that is actually responsible for this? The same people that blew up the pages in Lebanon?
Well, we could do a whole show on the WHO. I mean, there's a new world order at hand in Agenda 2030.
I think just
also...
just to speed things up, pretty much all of our viewers are aware of the New World Order and that kind of thing. I'm actually trying to get down to the nuts and bolts of who's actually behind this. I.e., it's a clear land grab, which I think we've discussed before on the show, and I know you've been talking about. So that's what I'm getting at, is who's actually running the nuts and bolts behind all this.
It would be the sustainability, like fucktards that come together and plan all this shit out. Like the military industrial complex is definitely at hand because this is like top secret technology type thing. I mean, NASA also, the Department of Energy, like the Department of Energy's in on it full on. Like they're the ones putting the smart meters on the homes, and they know exactly what they're doing. And they have a full on chemtrail program, and they're in cahoots with the mainstream media they're blaming themselves for global warming, right? So they're like, oh yeah, these neighborhoods burned down. It's our fault from oil and coal. And then they know that it's going to be told the solution is geoengineering, dimming the sun. And they have already that planned out. They're already doing it. They're already funding it. So it's very, very deep, but it's like, there's a document called the Tropospheric Aerosol Program from the Department of Energy that came out right before 9/11. 2001, they started spraying the skies. They allocate $5.5 million to detection aversion, not getting detected, and risk assessment. So they're trying to figure out how to not get caught with $5 million budget just in 2001 when they launched this program. But like the Department of Energy, Stranger Things is a great great show, and then in there they demonize it, and it's kind of like a disclosure. But it also, when you get to the normies and you're like Department of Energy, they're like, oh, look in Stranger Things, and it's like, actually, yes, that is it. It is it. But it's like they're doing this whole problem reaction solution, saying, oh, sorry, we've created the problem through fossil fuels, but we've got the solution for you. It's enslavement. You're welcome. You know what I mean? So that's the WHO in the short. Yeah.
I want to rewind to what you were saying about smart meters, because you've sort of dropped a bomb there which hasn't really been given its dues. Because when people were looking at
its dues,
when people were looking at photos like this or like this, for example, and were making, people that were paying attention, Matt, they were making the very obvious comments: is why are the houses completely destroyed while there are still trees that are green? The road isn't even scorched, etc., etc. And obviously, a lot of people, including ourselves, were talking about directed energy weapons. But what you've just put on the table is actually, I'm going to say it, it's actually a lot more feasible. It's a lot more plausible, and it makes a lot more sense. That's the reason that you can have a wildfire,
or it's both.
Well, it could, yeah. The most likelihood it could be both, but I mean for the particular reason that you can pretty much vaporize a house, but leave a tree green. Where if the fire's going to jump from across the street, it should be hitting this this tree here.
I mean, I will just say that some trees hold an incredible amount of moisture, which would act as some protection.
Yeah,
but I would imagine that the heat required to incinerate all of these buildings would be so intense that would override any moisture which is in a tree. I don't know. I'm not an expert on tree
and one
moisture.
Thing I think it's
and
important,
fire retardantness.
One thing I think it's important to point out with this cross-Atlantic cultural difference is that in England we assume that everyone builds houses like we do in England out of bricks and stone.
No,
in America,
in
the States there's a lot of wood.
Yeah.
I'm not incorrect here, Matt. So that these houses being completely evaporated, you wouldn't necessarily need a jumbo jet with some sort of directed laser to do this, like precision going ding 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 ding, shooting them all. It would be a lot easier.
Plus, you would have thought there would be footage of that. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying there isn't footage of laser beams coming from the sky. I'm sure everyone's seen those on YouTube.
But imagine if in a massive wildfire you then press the button to activate all the small thermonuclear devices that are in everyone's meter in their house.
It does make more sense because you think about it. When I'm talking specifically about the California wildfires of recent here, there was so much media coverage, footage, peasants filming it. It was filmed everywhere. Someone would have got loads of laser beams coming down from the sky if they wanted to demolish the entire amount of area they did. It does sound more feasible to me that they're doing it this way.
And that's how you can get a whole neighborhood. Go on, Matt.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people got excited about the directed energy weapon story. I too, at first, jumped down that rabbit hole. But then after a while, I noticed a few things. Number one, it was getting way too much attention. It was going viral on every single platform. TikTok, everybody was letting it get millions and millions. It was all over everything. And it's very fear-based. And think about, so whenever these things come out, you got to wonder, am I getting psyoped? Am I getting psyoped? And just take the narrative and tell it, like pretend like you're telling it to a normie. Laser beams are coming down from the sky. It doesn't do anything for you. It makes you look like a nutter, which is another word that I really like.
A nutter.
And then when you come back to them later on and you're like, also, you shouldn't be drinking fluoride and you should this and that, and don't wear the mask.
It's not doing you any favors. It's not doing you any favors.
No. And what psyops oftentimes do is they hide the truth as well through showing a bit of the truth, right? So no, there weren't lasers, boom, 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 boom. But a lot of people believe that. And that's so dismantling. Like if they could actually do that and get away with that, that would be so scary.
Check this out, Matt. Check this out.
Yeah.
Right. You know the blue roof, the blue color thing that was going on.
And that shite too, yeah.
Imagine, do you remember all of the stuff that was blue, like trash cans, cars, stuff? They all looked pretty brand new to me. They did look like pretty fresh. There was not even any scorch marks and anything. So maybe all they did was get someone to drive through, put a few blue things amongst the wreckage, take some pictures,
the last big
and then
fire,
put that out into the peasants.
Where was the last big fire? I think it was in California again, yeah. And there was this news story that afterwards, the only thing that survived was this completely blue Volkswagen.
Yeah.
And they were even
and that was all in the mainstream. Yeah. And that's definition taking the piss, right? Because the mainstream knows that there's another psyop too, because they're all in cahoots, right?
It's conspiracy bait.
Yeah, and they want to take the piss and be like, and get everyone thinking that they're getting clowned and be like, oh, the mainstream media knows, right? But really, they're making fun of us and adding fuel to that. That could have been photoshopped in. That could have been staged. That could have been CGI. Like, you don't know. But that blue roof thing even made the truthers sound even crazier, because there's this divide and conquer. Like, what's the end game? It's like, it's very deep and spiritual, and we'll get into that later. I think we're going to, about like transhumanism and what their end game is. But what they need is people not recognizing the truth for what it is and only listening to authority and only believing the official narrative and not trusting their own discernment, not asking questions and not getting like involved, right? Like not literally going within their gut and being able to discern it on their own, just believing the mainstream. And so there's one narrative, laser beams coming from the sky, nothing blue is going to get hit. It's like, come on. Okay, first of all, how much do you think a laser beam freaking drone costs? And how much money and research goes into that? You think that Northrop Grumman and Raytheon is going to build some like stealth laser that can blow up neighborhoods and just accidentally make it can't hit blue things? Like, give me a effing break. That is just like, that's just literally... That is just taking the piss and getting the conspiracy theorists to gobble up something because it's a
tiny hat psyop.
Right. And it's like,
hey, we were gobbling that right up. We were talking about it on the show.
Yeah, but everyone was, and we have to cover what's going on in the world. That's what we do half the time.
Everybody was,
and
it was very
looking
well designed.
into. And don't forget, guys, there was actual videos put out on like Instagram and stuff of little handheld lasers that were killing, like burning through other colours, but not blue.
Someone showed the light spectrum and showed that particular blue, the number for it was 666.
Yeah, that's right.
Or it broke down to Lucifer or something like that.
All of this shit.
Really?
I saw videos of people in China. I saw fake videos of people in China, and the whole town painted their roofs blue. I saw so many things psyop. But what the truth of the matter is there's likely a drone that's going through with directed energy kind of stuff, just like they did in Lebanon, heating up these smart meters, making them surge. So they're surging electricity from the main line. So they're getting this surge of electricity through the smart meter and the heat. So it's like burning these homes from the inside out, pulverizing them from the inside out with massive heat and electricity, with electrical fires and massive heat. And that would make these footprints of dustified homes with pine trees standing right next to them, right? It makes a lot more sense. And if you start to look at the math and the science, it actually adds up. There's lithium ion batteries that can surge in heat, and then that fries the surge protectors. And that makes so much more sense. And it makes sense because they have to tell you, it seems, you know, karmic disclosure or the whatever it is.
And Matt, all the better if somebody's got a Tesla parked in the garage or the driveway.
I'm sorry. What's
All the better if someone's got a Tesla parked in the garage or the driveway, because then you're going to get that go up as well.
Right, and they've got the electrical vehicle surging or what have you, and then you've got fire that looks like maybe someone came through. So here's the deal. Like whenever we're like chomping at the bit, like something happened, whatever information comes to us first will pave this like mental pathway. Like, oh, that must be it. It connects the dots. And then our egos get involved. Oh, we've got this gem that we get to share with others. You know what I mean? But when it's going viral and it's got hundreds of millions of views, you have to start to question, why is this being like conveyed the way that it is?
And then Joe Rogan starts talking about it.
Yeah, exactly. Did he? Then that's a real red flag if he did. Yeah. I hate that guy. He's horrible, in my opinion. So that happened. And then also along with that, we've got intensified flooding, twister tornadoes in the States, flooding just like constantly happening now. Australia just got this 1 year worth of rain, like in one day, a couple of days ago. All very obviously engineered with crazy NextRad coming up on the radar imagery and stuff like that. But the world is waking up, and it's the entire push for this new world order agenda, which is climate change is the boogeyman, and we have to do something to save you. And if you look at the sustainability like goals, they're all kind of like nonsense, except for number 13. It's got the climate action. It's got this evil eye over the globe, and it's all contingent upon people believing the lie that is climate change is our fault, which is basically the climate is changing, but it's being geoengineered, you know, and they're only making these heat waves and droughts and certain trigger things so that they can blame us to push these narratives. So they're engineering these certain things. As we know, they'll engineer a heat wave, they'll engineer a drought, they'll engineer a flood, and then they'll point the finger at that event and say, well, look, there's global warming, climate change here. We have to do these certain things, like maybe do climate change lockdowns. There's talk about that now, but especially like the ULEZ and the LEZ, LEZ, low emission zones, and the 15-minute cities. And then now we've got, out of Australia, I don't know if you know, they're testing having carbon labeling. So all the food in Australia now is going to have a carbon label. Like how much carbon did it take for this bag of coffee or banana to get to you? And if the banana came from South America, you better believe it had to travel a lot, and it's going to have this carbon rating, which will eventually be like wrapped up into some social credit carbon-based system. I firmly believe that Palisades was burned down where all the Hollywood people live, because they're going to build this up into a AI social credit technocratic carbon-based system where all the celebrities are like, I walked today because I didn't drive and I don't eat bananas because, and my coffee's $1,000, but that's okay because, and they're getting all their little social points, and they're going to push this system on everybody because it's going to take away our rights and everything. And that's what they want. And that's all like a spiritual thing. But eventually they want everyone on electric cars, and they're not going to be able to get this push away from gas and all these things unless they create this whole narrative, which is all based on weather engineering, like lies. You know what I mean?
So Matt, just quickly, there was a comment which Lance has very conveniently just taken off the screen.
Shit, sorry.
It's cool. I found it again. It is from Tree Dude here, and it says, "Smart meters wiped out Lahaina. What the fuck?" So what do you say to that, Matt? That some places that probably haven't got smart meters that much, maybe, have been wiped out. Maybe that is an aerial DEW.
Lahaina, Maui had smart meters.
It did have smart meters. Okay.
Yeah, and firefighters said that there were hot spots even weeks later where it was like still like molten freaking hot where the smart meters lines were. So in Lahaina, they engineered winds, they lit fires, and as the fires approached Lahaina, the smart meters all surged, and there was nothing anybody could do about it. It was burned so hot and so fast.
There we go. Lahaina was subjected to.
It's textbook. It's now textbook. It happened where I live in Talent, Oregon, where 2,300 low-income homes turned to dust in the middle of the day, and the fire hydrants were turned off, and the emergency broadcast was turned off, and all these people had to retire right afterwards because the sheriff was like under scrutiny because he didn't put out the warnings or anything like that. But the fire hydrants were off, like turned off. So nothing could be done and no evidence would remain. Same exact script in Jasper, Alberta, Canada, was a really rich area that they wanted to clean out and turn into their little place. Same exact script in Lahaina and same exact script in Palisades. Firemen showing up, hydrants off, no water available, surging smart meters, pulverizing homes, people talking about it. And also what's really interesting, which really got me on this whole trip, is being an activist, you have to wear many hats. We end up like literally having to go down all these different rabbit holes. And now I'm like somehow an electrical engineer of sorts. The places in my town that did not burn had the old meters, didn't have the electricity on. And they're standing there amongst the rubble. There's one place in particular called the Tally-Ho, this old bar. It had red paint. It had cobwebs on it. The red paint was untouched. The cobwebs were untouched. It's got an old analog meter on it, and they were shut down because they were closed for the time being. And literally on each side of it, there's melted metal, like cars melted, anything that was like conductive was melted. Homes pulverized. And this one place is just sitting there untouched, not because it was blue, okay, but because it didn't have the smart meter and they didn't have the electricity plugged in. And I think that's a huge story, and it's not over. I think Phoenix, Arizona will likely go up because there's the insurers are dropping their insurance on certain places, and that's like something that's part of the story is like they won't insure these places, and then they have to give the land to the government basically because these people lose everything, and then FEMA gobbles it up, the like disaster agency or whatever. But it's getting really obvious, and this is going to be their script, and it's like the writing's on the wall now. Like people are realizing what's happening about the smart meters. And likely people will start to reject it and wake up to it because it's a worldwide thing. They're pushing the smart meters on you all. This thing is going to happen over there. It'll continue to happen here in Canada as well, in Australia as well. Like this is the script that they use to push people out of certain regions. I mean, maybe they'll hit like in the Philippines while we were on hiatus and hadn't talked for a few months. Manila, I don't know if you saw this, but they were identical hurricanes over there. They call them cyclones. Back to back to back to back to back to back to back. They did 6 in a row, blasted Manila, flooded it out, and now they're rebuilding a smart city. This is the capital of the Philippines. So some areas they can just flood, but some areas they can't. So they burn them up with this agenda. And what easier of a way to clear out places like Paradise, California. They were one of the first places where people thought it must have been directed energy weapons because of the questionable and different fire fingerprints and what have you, fire forensics. And Paradise, California is like textbook agenda 2030 because 2030 is like the agenda is this land, you can't live here anymore. We're rewilding this area. This area is too fire prone. Oh, you own property there? You're not allowed to rebuild or go back because it's now owned by the federal government and you're not allowed to be insured. So you can't build there because you can't build without fire codes and all this sort of stuff. And they're making big amounts of land just not for humans. And that'll continue until people are only allowed in these smart city type areas. So Paradise, California was a cool town. It was a cool city. It burned 2 times in about like 6 years. And now there's huge regions where it's just like the government took the land. You're not allowed to rebuild. It's just no-go zones because they had 2 fires and it's a fire risk region. So you humans not allowed. It's like, okay. Great, thanks.
Yeah, because if I remember looking at Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030, there was talk about rewilding 95% of the surface of the Earth. And I guess the remaining 5%, as you just put it, would essentially be these small, smart cities, these human corrals where everyone is just plugged into the Borg.
Yeah, exactly. If you watch, there's a lot of dystopian films that kind of like predictively program. There's a lot of predictive programming films, and they're like disclosure pieces, but also like programming humanity to consent to it and maybe even co-create it together or whatever. But Blade Runner, which was a Philip K. Dick book, and he's like all part of their, you know, agenda, putting these things out in the consciousness. But Blade Runner, there's like mega cities, but then when they leave the city, it's just like no-go zones, like no people allowed. It's all like wild areas. So that's what they want. They want these mega cities where everyone can be controlled by frequency through medicine, like this AI mRNA, like self-analyzing the human and then giving it its own little special little shot. That's going to get really weird when AI is able to assess humans and look them up and down. And eventually it'll turn into some dystopia where we're always monitored because we're in these smart cities and there's frequency and cameras everywhere. And likely we'll wake up every morning, and like the movie Gattaca, where everyone has their own little like pill that they take every morning. I mean, I know I'm getting out there, I'm extrapolating a bit, but where's this heading? Like, why would Trump invest all this money into this AI, specialized AI that gives people individualized jibby jabs? Like, that's insanity to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we actually did a whole.
We're going somewhere weird.
No, not at all, not at all. We actually did a whole presentation on this.
Believe me, Matt, we went far further than you did.
It was all about Operation Stargate.
We're calling it Star of David Gate.
Operation Star of David Gate, and what, you know. So, can I assume from what you've already sort of alluded to there is that you're not on the Trump train?
Oh, not at all. And I get a lot of flack for it, and people then jump down my throat and assume I'm on the other side, which I'm not. I'm not on either side. I like to say I'm.
Matt, do you know what you have to say to these people? You have to say this to them.
You're a little punk, bitch, insecure, button-dicked little boy.
Thanks, Mark Passio.
Don't mind me if I take that. Oh, nice. I love it.
Because we ask you about Trump because we believe here, we've done many presentations here about on our Patreon about what we think we're being set up for here in the UK, because it would appear that we're on a 4-year cycle behind the US, and we're kind of in our Biden era with Keir Starmer, just deliberately, clearly fucking everything up. And we've speculated here on the show that we're being set up here in the UK for another political party called Reform to come in, which is essentially like the English version of MAGA.
Mm-hmm.
And I would argue that we are heading the same way. Like if we vote ourselves into the party that's going to change all of the retarded stuff that the other parties put in place, and it all leads to the same place.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. And it's very much planned and by design. It's like, of course, everyone's going to reject the Biden administration. I mean, they made him sniffing children viral. You know, it's all over the internet that he's sniffing kids. And then he like pulls out of Afghanistan, but leaves them a whole military. Like everything he did was obviously like planned to create dissent for people to hate him. And then, of course, everyone's going to jump on the Trump bandwagon, especially after he gets like blasted in the head and survives it, you know, which is all a big joke. And then people will be so on his side that they'll be blind to the New World Order takeover kind of thing. And nobody on the liberal side is going to object anything because they all have already like castrated themselves. Like they're not going to be like the rebels. So anywhere anything would come, any sort of like, not takedown of the state, because that's a bit extreme, but any sort of activist saying no to the Trump regime and exposing him, it's going to have to come and actually doing something and like creating some sort of movement. Yeah, that I saw that today. That's a beautiful piece of the puzzle.
I got this off your page, mate.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, they've segmented out society to now like Tesla cars are blowing up, and they're creating this story that poor Elon Musk, the richest guy in the world, is being targeted through terrorism. Like they've brought back terrorism, of course, all of a sudden, which is all planned by design. Like 200 cities all of a sudden are in these crazy uproar protests against Tesla cars. Give me a freaking break. Nobody's organized like that except for like hijacked like BLM and stuff like that, which we know all that was planned from the get-go. So it's all by design, the Trump thing. They know that if they came out with the mark of the beast and digital currencies and crashed the whole system, that people could come together and like make militias or something. And those people would be the Republican side. So to get those potential people like worshiping Trump, thinking that he is actually Jesus Christ reincarnated, and then they diffuse that potential side. And then the other side, they've already co-opted it, and they've got them supposedly burning up Teslas and stuff. Those, pardon my French, those pussies would never bomb a single car in their entire life. They would never do any of that. So this is all government planned, like car bombs in the US all of a sudden just popping off everywhere because people hate the Cybertruck. It's like, no, nobody has the balls to bomb a fucking Cybertruck. Like, nobody does. I'm sorry, this isn't the world we live in. So these castrated liberals are all of a sudden bombing cars and setting up protests in 200 cities, organized to that degree. No, this is all by design.
Matt, imagine there was 200 armed militia organised throughout the United States. Imagine somebody should organise that.
Right, that's exactly what they don't want. So they're doing the exact opposite. And where this is going is Tesla is going to, of course, have financial difficulties, and the U.S. government's going to have to bail them out. And then all of a sudden, the Tesla brand, which is expensive cars, is going to come out and have a cheap car for everyone. And they might not make it required initially, but as gas prices rise because of conflict in Iran, and then they start banning gas in certain states, the only viable option will be the cheap Tesla car that'll eventually be required, and it'll be all we have.
This
and
is just like
what happened. This is what happened in Germany, actually. I learned this recently, that Volkswagen was created, and Adolf Hitler was like, oh, we're going to give the people a cheap car, and it's nationalized and all this sort of stuff. But he wasn't a good man. We know that. And neither is Donald Trump. But people don't see the writing on the wall and see how history repeats itself.
Oh, I wouldn't believe everything you hear about Uncle Adolf, Matt.
Well, I
just subscribe to our Patreon for a mere $3.33 a month, where we go into all of this stuff. Just don't believe everything you hear about Uncle Adolf.
I'm not saying that the true narrative is legit. I know that that all that's going on in Gaza and whatnot has been planned for a long time, and that we were duped for sure. But that whole narrative doesn't necessarily win you many friends either. But the truth of the story is that these electric vehicles are going to be shoved down everyone's throats, and then they can explode on demand. They can be cut so you can't go certain places because you have to have a battery charging station somewhere, and if they don't. And this will
link in with what you said earlier about your carbon credit when you go to buy your steak at the supermarket, and then if you've used up too many, you had steak this week, therefore you can't drive.
Does anyone remember when the war first kicked off in Ukraine that Enki Musk, as we call him, he made some declaration that if he wanted, he could shut off all of the Teslas that he'd sold to Russian people in Russia. He said he literally made that and that sort of, and people were sort of like, oh, wish he would. Like these NPCs, like that would show Russia, wouldn't it, if all their Teslas got turned off? But they sort of totally missed the point that some oligarch or ancient Sumerian tech lord in a meat suit,
nice. Shout out to Bryce Sanchez.
Yeah, can basically say, I'm going to remotely turn off your car because you live in a country that now we don't like, or even though you've already paid for it. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think that we're passing the buck in the Ukraine thing to you all, and there's going to be conflict, and the UK is going to be dragged into a war. That whole Zelensky-Trump showdown in the White House that was filmed live was like basically a worse than a WWF wrestling match. It was so fabricated, but it was so that we could step back, and then Europe and the UK could get involved in a real skirmish, and then we'll come back to back you all up, and then there'll be probably World War III. It's all very stupid and by design. But the New World Order plan for Agenda 2030 to limit our travel, right when Trump came into office, all of a sudden, all over the mainstream media is, which I don't know if you guys did a show on that Black Hawk helicopter crash in DC, but there was like all this fear mongering about travel. Everywhere I look, it's like plane almost crashed.
We've spoke about this on a number of occasions. Yeah.
Matt is funny because my beautiful Ramesh wife Becky, she actually showed me some data, as they say in Australia, that shows that the amount of plane crashes globally was actually more than what was being reported. Like it's just that now it's come to light. Like there hasn't been any more plane crashes than normal. It's just like they never get reported on.
So now they're showing you.
Yeah. Now they're showing
for a
you,
reason.
like, and she showed me the numbers of plane crashes for like the last 30 years or something like that, and it's literally no different.
And it's psychological.
So that's what I'm saying. That was put out for a reason as well.
Yeah, exactly. And it's to keep it's so that when they come out with the next law that says, oh, you're only allowed to travel once a year, or here's your voucher for, you know, leaving your 15-minute city, you can only go 100 kilometers or whatever it may be, right? Then the majority of the people that have already been feared to all shit, that are just like scared to death to get on a plane, they won't fight it. They'll be like, oh, good, because I'm scared of that shit anyways. I don't want to go on a plane. But those that are the truthers that know what's actually happening, we're gonna say no to that.
Well, they've said that they don't want any air travel after 2050. I think 2049 is the like by that they don't want any air travel. It's all going to be these underground, undersea, high-speed mag trains.
Amazing, yeah. But air travel doesn't add to the pollution that they claim. They want
of course,
people to think.
We all know that. But you imagine how devastating it could be. They could easily just put a little bomb somewhere and just destroy a baton. It'd be thousands of people killed rather than a few hundreds on a plane.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think ultimately they want us to have some sort of like tracking device, whether it's a QR code or a chip, or even just everyone's required to have a state cell phone or whatever. And then everyone will be tracked and monitored, just like in China. And in China, the AI is so intense that if you say out loud something like, oops, I forgot to take my birth control, your social score goes down. Everyone has a little score hovering over their head. Yeah, I mean, it's like there's a score, just like a Black Mirror episode, but the West has to be kind of tricked into it in a different way. But we're going down that path. Like, we are slippery slope. Like these evil board members come together and they're like, how are we going to get from A to Z, or A to Z, or whatever you say, you know? And Z is like Idiocracy. If you've seen that movie, like literally, like
I was talking about it in a show the other week to Anti-PG.
So how are we going to get from A all the way to Z? And they're like, we're going to do this. We're going to do 9/11. We're going to do QR codes. We're going to do the lockdowns, la-ti-da. I started tripping recently because I've got some associates that are obsessed with the AI, right? And they talk to it all the time. I've got a friend that has an AI therapist that it adapts to how you speak to it. So she's like mad bitchy to it, and then it's mad bitchy back. And they like kind of bicker about things, but it gives her advice, and it's very advanced. And I started realizing they will do another lockdown, right? But remember last time when they did the lockdown and everyone was just so lonely and sad, you know, because people were like lonely and sad, right? Now they're going to have AI to be like their best friend. And so these people, once they come out of the next lockdown, they're going to be defending it like it's their brother and sister. They're going to be in love with it. And then they're going to be like, give it its own bathroom. Give it its own bathroom. We love it. Like, let's implant it into a little cyborg and have it walking around. Like, I want an AI dog, AI girlfriend, all of it. Did you see the new Blade Runner where they have actually an AI girlfriend, and the whole time he's like, I just want to get you a body, baby, so you can leave the house. And then he like figures out a way to do it. I think it's crazy.
Yeah. It's, I have seen the latest one. It's quite good.
Yeah, it's pretty dark.
You spoke a minute ago about members of these evil boards, and I thought I'd just bring this up because this was quite hot off the press.
I found this afternoon via Katie Hopkins, actually.
Oh, great source.
Yeah.
See, right winger. World Economic Forum founder, in fact, Klaus Schwab, to step down as chair of trustees. Financial Times reports. So this guy's been the face of sort of everything that you've been talking about. He's been the spokesman for it for, I wonder how long he's actually
50 years, Michael.
He's been doing this for
50 years.
He's been the head of the
50 years, Michael. Shall I say it again?
50 years.
50 years, Michael.
Okay, he's been doing it for 50 years, apparently, and he's finally stepping down.
That's no joke. That's legit. 50 years.
Is this significant, Matt?
Yeah, he's probably going to go hide in his bunker.
Well, Lance, I'm just sending you something now. This is the deputy chairman of the WEF.
Okay.
This dude is Norwegian.
Go on, Matt. What were you saying?
Likely before a fall, the main culprit takes a step aside so that there can be a fallout man. It happened when Ben Bernanke crashed the U.S. economy. He knew that we were all going to just have foreclosures and have a complete collapse in real estate. So he stepped aside for 1 year. His Harvard research thesis was how to create a bubble and make it burst in the real estate market. And he was the guy who created it. And then he had Henry Hank Paulson come in and be the front man for like the fallout of the U.S. economy. And only for a year was he there for the fallout guy. Similarly, Klaus Schwab is like the boogeyman. Everybody knows he's like evil and wants everyone to eat crickets. And during a fall, people might actually like protest him and like pitchfork his ass or whatever. So they're going to have him step aside and have a friendlier face come in probably, I would imagine. Or he's going to go hide in his bunker with the billionaires while something happens. Who knows? I mean, I think during this next 4 years, during the Trump administration, we're going to see some pretty heady stuff go down. And likely we'll go into some weird lockdown. And when we come out, the only way to transact goods is going to be through a new system of sorts, like a digitized tracking. Like physical currencies are probably going to go out the window because of the next pandemic or something. I can't really predict what, but this regime that's in place, they're setting us up for something really transformational.
So Lance, just get up on the screen. So this is a Norwegian politician, and he is the sub-chairman. Borge Brend.
What are you saying? This guy might be in line to take over?
I don't know how it works at WEF, if they have to get 3 people to converse for days and then they send out some white smoke, like they do at the Vatican, just to pick the new chairman. But this is the second guy. So if Klaus Schwab's stepping down, unless they appoint a new chairman, I would imagine this guy would take over. Somebody in the comments put up Noah Yavi fucking what
Harari.
Yeah, Harari, fucking AI dick sucker trans dude. He I don't think he would. He's not I don't think he's a fully fledged member of the WEF. I think he just pops in and out. He's a technocrat and he weirdo.
Yeah, I don't think that this is anything good. Like I say, when the big face of the plan steps down, it usually means that, yeah, like Matt says, he's either going to be scapegoated.
I don't think so, Michael. I think, like, you look at right. We all know Klaus Schwab. Whether you know whether you think he's just the face of what's going on and he's really not behind it, like Bill Gates. You know, he's maybe just the face for the public, people like us. You think the damage this guy has done since 2020, right? You think his successor has got to top his boss?
Oh yeah, it's not going to be an easy task.
It's not going to be good, is it? It's not going to be good.
Yeah,
for
but
anyone
maybe he's probably going to
in.
make Klaus Schwab look good, because Klaus Schwab was just telling you that I'm going to take your biological, digital, personal identity and Schwab it all together. The next guy that comes in is going to be the one that actually does that.
Yeah, which I would argue is worse.
Yeah, no, it's definitely. I'm saying it's definitely going to be worse. It's definitely going to be worse. Yeah,
and
so
plus, what's Klaus Schwab going to go and do? Just sit in his garden, do some gardening, plant some marigolds. Grow some running beans? I don't think so. He's going to go and do something that we can't then see because he's out of the public eye at the WEF. Wonder what he's going to be up to.
It's a good question. Probably cloning himself.
Or maybe he's going underground for the Phoenix reset in his cryogenic chamber.
Maybe he's going to merge himself into a new, fresher, young meat suit and a new clone, like Matt says. Carry on the great work. Speaking of people doing the great work, here's another one. This is just some fucking mainstream media meme that's come out in the last couple of days. Bill Gates wants to tax the robots that take your job, and some say it could fund universal basic income to replace lost wages. I've got to say, these are getting quite good now. You know, these predictions of what's going to happen. Because the funny thing is, when someone like us, a tinfoiler would say this a number of years ago, people would laugh at you and say that's ridiculous. but now this is what like the mainstream media is saying.
Welcome to reality.
Yeah, welcome to clown world. Full reversal.
Shit, I should have pressed the button. Sorry.
Yeah, you should have.
There we go.
Can we go back to weather modification and stuff? Let me see where we go. I've got multiple different parts of this slideshow. Yes. Are you in the UK at the moment, Matt?
No, I'm in the States. I'll be going over there in a week though to scope out and get everything dialed in for the protest on the summer solstice. But
were you in the UK recently, Matt?
No.
Oh, okay.
I think you must just been posting about UK chemtrails.
Yeah.
So Yeah, that's a good segue, actually. Part of the reason that we've got you on is because you have got something quite exciting coming up, right, which is in the UK.
Yeah, I'm really jazzed about it. I hope that you guys can come. But I think you might have a conflicting thing you said. But
I have. Andy
so
might be available.
So I was trying to figure out what to do about the chemtrails, right? Because this is my passion. And making movies is great, and holding little conferences and whatnot, and film screenings is great. But I think last time we were on the air, we were talking, and it's a pretty dismal concept. Like, what the heck can we do? Like, is there any stopping this? Really, is there any stopping it? And if there's anything that's going to be done about this, about the chemtrail, about the aerosol spraying, about the geoengineering, about the weather warfare, about all this bullshit, which impacts all of us, all of humanity. Step one is going to be awareness. We have to bring the consciousness forward on the topic. I liken it to GMO foods and Monsanto. There was a time when GMO and Monsanto was not common knowledge, but activists got involved, and they did the deed. They had protests all around the world, and they have an annual protest every May 25th called March Against Monsanto all throughout the world. And it's been happening now since 2013. So they're on the 12th year anniversary. And now a lot of people already know about GMO and Monsanto, but they keep pounding the pavement to bring awareness to a company that doesn't even exist anymore. They got gobbled up by Bayer. They now are owned by Bayer, this huge conglomerate that has affiliations back to whoever. So then the Germans and stuff. So just like Franken Foods and GMO and Monsanto, and how awareness was activated through activism and brought about real change, because now there's labels at my grocery store, and people know enough about Roundup and glyphosate to have court cases against it and whatnot. And I can go and choose. I have choice. Like with the chemtrails, I don't have choice. I go outside, breathe the air just like everybody else. I can mineralize and try to get up to speed on my health and not have it impact me as much. But if they're flooding out my city or whatever, it's just it's going to impact me. So we need to bring the awareness forward. And the first step for that is having gatherings where like-minded people come together and find their tribes. For instance, if you live in Birmingham, whatever, sorry. If you live in
Birmingham.
Yeah, if you live in Birmingham.
It's actually pronounced Birmingham these days.
If you live in a certain part of
It's clearly
England,
racist.
like say you live in Cornwall and you're trying to find your people, but you don't know who's awake. You come to this gathering and then you meet like-minded people from Cornwall. There will be people from Cornwall. There will be people from all over the UK. And it's time that we find our tribe, find the kind of people that are awake and on our page. Yes, there were things like Stand in the Park, and that was all beautiful. And the coming together on certain topics, like the jibby jabs and whatnot, is and was very important. But we have not had a rally, a protest, a worldwide gathering for chemtrails.
I said this to my missus. I said, "Where's Matt? Where's he gone?"
It's right there.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry. I thought
I'm listening to you.
Sorry, I thought Lance just moved the screen around. I thought you disappeared. I said this to my missus. I said there hasn't been geoengineering or a chemtrail protest in the UK. There hasn't.
Right. It has to happen.
There
And
might have been a few
the
people
timing is
waving
now.
some flags at another protest about it, but that's about it. There hasn't been a full onslaught.
And it's on. The awakening is on. It's like ripe timing. I think the lockdowns got a lot of people looking up and asking questions. And then I think this toxic fog got a lot of people sick recently, had people really asking questions. In June, the Met literally taking the piss on all of the citizens of the UK, saying it's the hottest June on record, when most of the UK had no sunlight at all for June. So they're like, wait, you're telling me it's the hottest June I've ever seen, yet we got no sunshine. So there's a lot of things adding up that people are questioning, and they want facts and they want to find their people on this topic, but people don't know where to go or what to do about it. But coming together and gathering will be the first step in our path towards raising awareness and putting an inevitable end to this. So it's on summer solstice because it's the longest sunny day of the year, and we're coming together to honor the sun. You know, a lot of people are like, don't protest chemtrails, do it for the sun, do a gathering for the sun. It's like, yeah, whatever the fuck you want to call it, okay? We're coming together, right? It's a gathering to bring awareness to the blocking of the sun. We're also honoring the sun on the longest day of the year. So however you want to slice it, it's for you because it's for humanity and to bring an end to this eventually. And we're going to make it an annual event. And what's happened is, I didn't realize this would happen, is I'm in the States, right? I'm on the West Coast of the United States, and I'm putting this together in London because that's where the awakening of consciousness is happening surrounding chemtrails right now. I can notice it and feel it based on all the people reaching out to me from over there and have me do presentations and film screenings and whatnot. There's a big rising consciousness in UK right now, Scotland, Wales, all over England, surrounding chemtrails. I don't know exactly why, but
I'll tell you why, Matt. I'll answer that for you. It's because the weather here's shit anyway. And then the very little weather we get, which is really nice, they schwab the sky out.
I think people in England are constantly looking up to the sky, complaining about the weather, observing the weather. Whereas in other countries where it's like always
Dude,
wet,
California gets 300 days of sunshine a year.
you don't really think about
we get about 12.
Yeah, but when the weather's constant like that, you don't really think about the weather. In England, people are always thinking about the weather. Oh, what's the weather doing? Oh, look at the sky up there. What does that mean? So it's like, I guess maybe we're just more observant because of our climate here, because it's unpredictable.
You think places like fucking Norway and Scandinavia, when they get like, they must get it worse than...
Yeah, but they expect it to be worse. In those countries, it's like, yeah, in the winter, you're going to be fucking frozen. And in the summer, it probably won't be that hot either.
Yeah, but when it is, they get the sky swapped out.
Yeah.
It must be even worse for them.
We do get it pretty bad here, I think.
Yeah, we get it really bad here. Really bad.
Yeah. You get it worse in the world almost, because when the sky opens up and you're like, oh, finally a sunny day, the planes show up and then you don't have your sunny day anymore. Farmers are noticing it, all different walks of life, from like different types of farming, from sheep
They're not
farmers.
doing it in Russia, Matt.
Are they not doing it over there at all?
They're not doing it in Russia.
I just went on a show in Ecuador, and they said that there was a U.S. Air Force base in Ecuador like 10 years ago. And once they pushed that base out, the chemtrails stopped and they never started. So there are places where they are not, but definitely countries that are under NATO. I mean, like all of Europe, all of the U.S., Canada,
the Commonwealth.
North America.
There were none in Serbia.
No, they were.
Yeah.
They were.
Were they?
They were. On the second day, they were.
Oh, right.
So it's going to be a great day. We're going to have this gathering. I'm going to have speakers, musicians. I'll likely put together something like a raffle or something to get people engaged. I'm still putting together the ideas. I'm open for suggestions on local musicians to have on. I'm still open for that. And what's been beautiful is I came out with a couple flyers, and different artists from the UK were like, oh, let me make a poster. Let me make a poster. So there's actually a lot of really cool posters going around and more to come. And a lot of different people from everywhere are reaching out to me, musicians from Scotland and South England. And I think it's going to be actually a really amazing turnout. So many people have already reached out to me saying, I promise I'll be there. I can't wait to meet you. That I think that the first annual gathering to stop this is going to be a huge success. But what I was saying is, people are reaching out to me from all over the world, and they're like, come to St. Louis, Missouri, come to Australia, come to New Zealand. And I'm like, why don't you just have a simultaneous protest with us on the same day in solidarity? And people are doing it. So it's popping up all over the world that this is actually going to be a worldwide event, and it's going to be an annual thing. So every summer solstice, I'll be hosting a chemtrail protest in London until like they take away the ability for us to fly around or whatever. But until then, we're going to be sounding the alarm and raising the consciousness on this issue. And I believe that we can create that spark in humanity to reach that 100th monkey, because right now we're kind of in the stone ages when it comes to truth. Like, people do not honor it with the integrity that it deserves. People don't accept it for what it is, and they'd rather be walking around with blindfold on. But so many people are starting to take that blindfold off that it's ripe, and the energy is now for the awakening to start. So here we are.
No,
well, there you go.
I think that's that's an excellent thing to do. Did you say that you're still looking for artists to perform, or DJs and stuff like that?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
well, that's
please.
a big shout out to everyone tuned in. We've got a multi-talented viewership here at Rise Above. So have you got an email address that if people wanted to send in a little demo to you, they could get hold of you?
You're obviously busy.
Unfortunately, I am busy. I would be there, Matt, but I've got a big a Muay Thai boxing show I have to announce in I think it's up north somewhere on that
next
date,
year.
sadly. Yes,
next year it'll be
100%.
next year it'll be even bigger. It'll be like massively larger because word will have spread about how successful this one will be, and then so many people will come next year and make it an even bigger international event. My email is frankenskies@gmail.com, and then also to keep up to date and to keep in the loop, and then I'll put my contact information up there as well. Is I have a website, stopgeoengineeringlondon.co.uk. Geoengineering is like the word for chemtrails. It's basically a synonym, but in a lot of circles, people are like, oh, don't use that word chemtrails. You'll get laughed out of the room or demonized or whatever. But geoengineering is the word that the mainstream is using for blocking out the sun with chemtrails. So it's like, we're just going to use that official word now and try to make it look a little bit more official. It's weather engineering chemtrail event. I'm open to have flyers with the word chemtrails on it. But right now, stopgeoengineeringlondon.co.uk for updates. The website is up, but it's also going to be updated and bigger and better soon. And that'll be there forever for the next year and the years to come, too.
Matt, I think you've been called a shill here by somebody in our chat.
Yay!
I'm
That's
not
great.
entirely sure. It looks that
I
way.
see it. That's
who's
great. I get that all the time.
Gigi, Abby Lynn, could you just elaborate on that at all?
And who is Matt shilling for, please?
I've never heard this person. I've never seen this handle in the chat before.
That's cool. I mean, I have to go onto my Facebook page with 100,000 followers and block people daily, right? I've actually considered, because if you can go look at the block section, and I've got now thousands of names in there. I was thinking about doing like a song, an ode to the, shite heads, and then just scroll down and show everybody all the names and like sing it out, like sing some of the names and rhyme it and just talk mad shit. Like it'll be kind of like I won't ever do it, but I want to call out all these people that are needing to be blocked on social media. Like,
well, I think you've got one of them here. They're saying they want to throw you in a wood chipper, Matt.
No, I think they're saying Matt wants to throw you in a wood chipper.
Right. No, well, this was from Gigi, the person who just accused Matt of being a shill.
Have you ever threatened to throw anyone in a wood chipper, Matt?
No, never said that before.
No, that's a bit weird.
No.
Oh dear. Okay. Well, please behave yourself.
But anyways,
in the comment section there.
I've done a lot of things, and I've been called that a lot, and it does trigger me, but not anymore. I hosted the third worldwide conference to stop geoengineering in Tucson, Arizona, in 2018, and the whole showdown was to stop Bill Gates from doing this public sun dimming experiment, spraying aluminum up in the atmosphere and seeing how much he could block the desert sun over Tucson, Arizona. So I moved down to Arizona, had this big conference and whatnot. And this biker dude, I swear he had to have been hired, but during my presentation in front of a packed house, conference hall at University of Arizona, he comes out screaming, "He's a global shill! He's a global shill!" And he said it, he just kept screaming it over and over. So the word is pretty triggering for me, but I'm over it now because that was 2018. But I had to stop the whole conference and call the police. And then I got in his face. I'm like, "Get out of here. Like, you're ruining the whole thing." And he's just like, "You're a global show." And he's like yelling it, trying to trigger me, trying to get me like engaged with him. And he had this
Gigi has just said that she's driving and she can't really chat. Just I'd say glad to know that she's keeping safe on the road and just texting him what she really had to
don't make baseless shill accusations while driving.
That,
yeah. That is bad practice. That is bad.
So, anyways, to finish the story, this guy had a big.
You're a fucking retard.
The guy who was interrupting my conference, who was very likely paid to do so, he had a giant styrofoam cup, like from the supermarket, empty, and he's waving it in my face as he's screaming, and I like lost my temper and whacked the styrofoam cup out of his hand because he's waving it in my face, screaming, interrupted my whole conference. Like, that's all I did, right? So then the police came that I called, and then they arrested me.
Oh,
they
wow.
arrested me for assault. They said that that's assault, and this guy's pressing charges. So then I had to go through this whole rigmarole, going back to Tucson to go to court. He got obstruction of he got disturbing the peace. He got a charge.
Right.
But then I got an assault charge. I had to get an attorney to go through all this shite, all because this guy called me a global shill. So anyways, the word shill no longer will trigger me. So, call me that all you want. Like, I like to judge a tree by its fruits. Yep. And if you do the research and you look into all the things that I've done and the 1,000 podcasts that I've been on and the conferences I've hosted, the movie that I made and the now protest that I'm hosting in London on my own dime. Like I'm doing this. I mean, like if I'm a shill, then well, I don't know what to say. Like then fuck, I'm doing a pretty good job, like doing good things for the
You're
world.
one of the
while
best in the
I'm
game.
controlled. Yeah, right. So I don't know what to say, but like judge a tree by its fruits. And there are a lot of controlled opposition out there. And I encourage people to get in touch with your own discernment, you know, your spiritual guidance system, and really
Find
look
your
yourself
inner
in the mirror
shill.
while you're at it, you know. But
Find your inner shill.
yeah, find your inner shill, and then like if you want to, you know, throw stones or whatever it is, then go for it. Because I'm not at the point of like even engaging with twats like that. I literally am like, oh, okay, you got nothing else to say, but just throw a name at me. Like at least say you did this, and therefore I don't trust you anymore. Like just throwing names is like child play, right? Like we're not on
Yeah, at
playground
least
anymore.
come with
Let's
some actual criticism of what I've been doing or saying, etc.
Yeah, let me know what's up.
Oh, mate,
I'd love to hear it.
we've had it all saying that we're a Satanist cult.
Freemasons.
We're Freemasons. I'm
Tavistock Institute funded studio.
My surname.
Yeah, Lance is a Jew.
My uncle is Rupert Murdoch. Because my surname's Murdoch. I've had it all.
Somebody called me paedophile. I think I got called a paedophile because I brought to the table some different angled research about child trafficking and some high level shit, and now I'm the paedophile.
Classic. Well, Matt, we've had you for a little while now. I'm not going to keep you any longer. It's been an epic chat as always. So I'm just going to remind people that you need to get down to. Is it Hyde Park? Yes, it is Hyde Park.
Yeah, Hyde Park. Yeah.
Let me just get the graphic back up on
Matt,
the screen.
do you want to just very quickly just run us through the plan for the day?
So on summer solstice, 21st June, we're going to be coming together at Hyde Park. I'll be there early, but officially it starts at 2 p.m. We're going to have myself as a speaker, and then I've got a few other speakers lined up, but I've got some hopefuls as well. Like James Dellingpool said, yeah, but he's impossible. Like we'll see if I can get the people that said yes to join. I'd also like to get the artist Bob Moran. I know we're back and forth, but I can't promise anybody right now. But there will be some great speakers as well as musicians. I've got musicians reaching out to me from all over, and that will be the major content of the day. But also a raffle, and I'll be giving out stickers. Hopefully, I'll have T-shirts. And then I'm going to do a Q&A, which is going to be very valuable for everybody. So anybody can come up to the microphone, and we're going to get all the information flushed out. And then we'll likely all go out to the pub, but I'm trying to figure out a way to screen the movie, my film, Frankenskies, as well during the evening. So it'll be a nice whole day and a picnic too. So bring yourself, you know, a 6-pack or whatever you think you can get away with. Bring some food. We're going to have a nice day at the park. And it's going to be sunny too, no matter what the weather says. It's going to be a nice day because God is on our side. And so they can try to do whatever they want, but they can't engineer any rain on that day. Mark my words. I'm just kidding. I'm praying for sun. Come there, good weather or not, and let's make history. And I look forward to meeting everybody. And if you're a musician, bring your stuff, reach out to me, and let's get you on the lineup. It's going to be a beautiful, amazing day. And look, there's protests for all this other shite. Like, come on, like, gender equality and fake climate change nonsense, and they get all these millions of people to show up. Let's show them that the truth actually matters and that we can rally for something that really means something, because this impacts everybody and it impacts our children's future. And if you look at the long game, where we're headed, it's our time to come together to bring forward the truth for humanity, because we owe it to the next generation. We owe it to our ancestors. We owe it to ourselves, and the truth. We owe it to the truth. So let's do this. Thank you. And I look forward to meeting everybody there.
No, I'm already gutted that I can't make it, to be honest.
I can't head into London without a full Ramesh security detail with what's going on there at the moment.
No, but we do encourage everyone to get down there. Matt, yeah, I just want to say thank you very much for joining us again. It's always a good chat when we've got you on the show. And obviously, you are the wealth of information when it comes to everything.
We have got the
geoengineering.
Link. We have got the link here. Thank you, Pamela Swan, one of our great moderators, for Matt's documentary, Frankenskies. That's on the screen now, guys.
Yeah, so show him some love.
Yeah, please, everyone, watch Frankenskies. It's hard to find its show that it's got a lot of views, because anytime it gets really viral, it gets pulled from different platforms. It's gone viral recently in Czech Republic and Romania, and it's been seen by roughly 100 million people worldwide. but don't let your ego get involved. If you find it somewhere and it only has 100,000 views or something, it's a very well-known and great documentary. Just give it a chance. Watch the first 10 minutes, see what you think, and don't be afraid to share it with people, because knowledge is power.
Matt, we've got a comment here from Juicy and Lucy, which Lance has very conveniently just taken off the screen.
Sorry, that's twice I've done that.
It says, Matt is a great guest on the show. When is he coming back? Matt, would you like to come on the show maybe a week after the protest, maybe, and just let us know how it went? Have a quick
we'll have
catch
a catch up. Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that. We could also do like while I'm in London, I could hop on and I could tell you that I'm there and we're gonna have it soon, and then we can have a check-in afterwards. However you want to do it, I'm open, and I appreciate that you all reach like a younger crowd, because the youth is like, really, I don't care if a bunch of geezers show up. No offense, like there's gonna be a lot of people that are older there. We need the next generation to show up and bring their skill sets and their passions to share this truth with the world, because it's a numbers game, and we really need the youth to wake up as well. So if you're like in your 20s and you're like, I can't be bothered, it's like, get off your ass. Come on, we need you, please. I appreciate it.
No, for real. That's a great way to look at it, Matt. All right, mate. Well, we wish you the absolute best of luck with the first ever geoengineering and weather engineering protest, 21st of June, 2025. Matt, thank you very much for joining us. Rise above, mate.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one. I appreciate it. Peace.
Matt Landman, ladies and gents. All right, we're going to have to take a very short break.
Quickly, shout out to Chris. He's just bought a ticket for our weekender.
Tickets are flying out for the weekender.
I mean, they're not flying out. We sold 3.
Is it only 3?
We sold 3.
I thought it was about 5.
No, we sold 3. We sold 3.
Okay, we've sold 3 tickets. 3. So we're on 34. We're on 30, 38 or 39 tickets at the moment.
38 out of 350, guys.
Yes. All right. And in case you're wondering, this is what a Rise Above weekender looks like.
What's your name? How are you? What are you doing here?
I'm
Amazing.
Fifi.
Yeah.
I'm from Swanage, just over the water over there.
Yep.
Met up with these guys a few years ago through Magix, who I'm friends with his mum, and they all came together through music, and then we had a meeting of minds.
Rules, regulation, improbable laws. Rules, regulation, no just cause. The vast and immovable object become an unstoppable force.
Creasing cogs, creasing cogs, creasing cogs, creasing cogs inside the Leviathan. Inside the Leviathan. They make the rules, they make the rules, they make the rules, but we got the game plan. Creasing cogs, creasing cogs. Greasing cogs inside the Leviathan. Bear witness to this phenomenon. A clear sickness as it's coming on. That's their business. So I carry on beating my fist on the walls of Babylon. And it's vicious if you're a vagabond. In the British Isles, it ain't Avalon. The ambitious escape to the Amazon. Life is malicious, climbing the echelon. So we gotta break them chains, do personal best and make them gains. It's a hurtful mess, so abstain from eternal threats on a long campaign. Enough stress, but we don't complain, and I'm hopeful, so I won't refrain from a global test. Gotta maintain on a mobile flex with no disdain. Greasing cogs, greasing cogs. They make the rules, they make the rules, they make the rules, but we got the game plan. Greasing cogs inside the Leviathan, inside the Leviathan. We're up against an immovable object. Greasing cogs, greasing cogs. They make the rules, they make the rules, they make the rules, but we got the game plan. Greasing cogs, greasing cogs. Up against an immovable object, placing bets on illusional odds set. Yo, it's cruel from the onset, killing you slow is the usual project. Still thriving despite the drawbacks. Ill writing, designing formats. This life gotta ride it raw back. The mind's climbing, not wiping the floor mat. Greasing cogs inside the Leviathan, keeping watching the ice conspiring. Catch wind, sound up the siren. Fuse the flames in the furnace is firing. Not expiring, expanding. Inquiring to gain understanding. A fall from the top equals a crash landing. Don't get fooled by the devil's rebranding. Greasing cogs, greasing cogs. They make the rules, they make the rules, they make the rules, but we got the game plan. Greasing cogs inside the Leviathan. We're up against, they make the rules, they make the rules. Greasing cogs, greasing cogs. They make the rules, greasing cogs. They make the rules, they make the rules, but we got the game plan. Greasing cogs inside the Leviathan. Greasing cogs. They make the rules, they make the rules. Greasing cogs.
They make the rules, but we got the game plan. You ain't with it, get out the way, man. Short-sighted, take off the Ray-Bans. Sourcing ethical goods, not name brands. No bait plans, we execute. Blueprints get combed with a fine tooth. The control system is not absolute. Revealing the truth is the way to recruit the youth. Collating a mountain of proof while they're stacking a mansion of lies. Cracking the code is eternity striving. Like drinking the fountain of life. Like a rhythm that I'm already riding. Aiming to bring down the house in tonight. The mic's hidden with imminent rising. When I draw this run big alive. Greasing goods. Greasing goods. Greasing goods. Greasing goods inside the Leviathan. Greasing goods. Greasing goods. Greasing goods inside the Leviathan. Greasing goods. They make the rules, but we got the game plan. Greasing goods. Greasing goods inside the Leviathan. They make the rules, but we got the game plan. Greasing goods. Greasing goods.
One, two, 1, 2. We're back in the house.
33.
Rise above, generate, rise above, extinguish fear, rise above.
Okay, so yeah, Matt Landman didn't disappoint. A great chat with him as per usual.
What have you done with the lighter, Lance? Oh, no.
I haven't stolen it. I haven't stolen the lighter, PG. Right, so we've got the chat. Let's get the chat back on the screen. That's nice. Right, let's rewind to last week's show. I need to get to this right place. When I started talking about what I identified as a very clear psyop from straight away, basically. A very clear psyop straight away. This whole thing with the adolescents.
Get rid of the overlay, Michael.
I'm just getting rid of it right now. When I first posted about this, I obviously had a few, and I don't really, the way I explained it last week, I don't really think I gave it justice. When I first started posting about this, I had the obvious people coming to me and saying, "Oh God, you think young white lads can't stab people? You're being racist."
Oh, fuck off!
That's clearly racist, and all that stuff. And I said, "No, listen, you're missing the point of what I'm saying. Not only is this like misdirection, this is actually properly government-sponsored propaganda, psyop.
100%.
100%, right?
Which means it's Bolshevik-sponsored.
Let me just get rid of this ticker.
It's got weight
this
to it.
ticker at the bottom. I used to laugh off pathetic incels and how they found a weakness mothers can't shield their sons from. So they're like, this is the demonization of incel culture,
of the white boy,
of the disenfranchised, slightly effeminate young white boy that's looks about 12 years old.
I think he was supposed to be 12 years old. I think the peasant I haven't watched it, but I think in the adolescence is actually a 12-year-old lad.
I thought that was well, but now they're saying he's 14 or 15 because we
Really?
pointed out on the show.
I'm gonna fucking Google it. I'm gonna micro it right here.
We pointed out on the show last week that.
What's the lad's name?
I don't know.
You watched it, Lance. Come on.
His name's Jamie in the thing. Yeah.
Oh, Jamie.
Yeah, his name's Jamie in the show. Someone in the comments, let me know. Has anyone seen this adolescence thing that is demonizing young boys that watch Andrew Tate and saying that they're, this big... Well, let's be fair. The documentary isn't saying that this is the biggest...
13
problem.
years old, Michael. 13.
Right, okay. The documentary is just saying this is a problem. What has happened afterwards is the response.
I'm going to have to butt in again. It's not a documentary. It's a series.
Did I just say documentary?
You just did. The
Fucking
same
hell.
as Keir Starmer did Keir Starling did in the Houses of
See,
Parliament.
this is how it works.
You can't do that shit, man.
This is how it works.
You're directly spreading the misinformation.
Clown disinformation.
Yeah.
I apologise to everyone. I honestly apologise. See how easy it is. Like the word
Sorry about that, guy.
The word
I'm sorry about
documentary
that.
gets said by queer styling.
We're
and now
gonna
it's in my
we're gonna
mind.
lose at least 3 Peasantron subscribers from that.
Okay. So I said from day one, this is government propaganda. Well, lo and behold, people have actually found the receipts now. So big shout out to Charlotte Gill and Joe Sylvester on Twitter or X.
That's awesome.
Says Charlotte says this: I don't know if adolescence is a psyop, but let's just say that Tender, the charity working in conjunction with it, was very ready to go PR-wise on the day of its release, the 13th March. Tender received £3.4 million in taxpayer funding from 2020 to 2024.
Oh, that's the fucking insult, isn't it? That they're using your own money to do it.
Yeah. So there's a reason that this is getting critical acclaim. You know, it is shot pretty well. Yeah, some of the acting is pretty good, but there's no way that this has been picked up by every media outlet. Queer Stalin's talking about it without some agenda going on. That's obvious. From the traditional Britain group, Tender Arts has just got the government contract to roll out adolescents in schools. Tender Arts was founded by Philippa Kaufman. She is Starmer's ex before his wife, Victoria Alexander.
Oh, politics.
Oh, look down here, Joshua Rosenberg. Look at some of these
Oh,
names.
a berg. We found a berg, guys. There's always a berg or a stein.
Okay, so people on fair play to these like Twitter sleuths. Do you know what I mean? Because like,
yeah, mate, they've
these
got a
people are
massive
going
part
hard
to play in the unveiling.
In the unveiling of Clownworld, basically. Let me just change the view here a little bit.
They've essentially done half our job.
Yeah, big shout out to Joe Sylvester and Charlotte Gill. Charlotte Gill also says Tender, the charity involved in the Netflix show Adolescents, received $3.4 billion from taxpayers between these days. In February, it held an event titled How to Be a Boy, Conversations with Men, with a panel including Nazar Afzal OBE, Dan Snow, and the Global Director of Diversity and Inclusion at Clifford Chance. Patricia Olivia Coleman delivered closing remarks.
Can I just jump in here? You said here at the start, received 3.4 million from taxpayers between 2020 and 2024.
Which
that
is right.
should tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that it is not one government that's doing it. It's not Labour or Conservative. This is an underpinned agenda that's because Labour didn't even come into power until of recent, and this was set up in 2020 to 2024.
Yeah. Maybe this is part.
No one gets 3.4 million of taxpayers' money for no good reason, do they?
Do you think this could be part of our like UK Doge disclosure? Sorry. Oh, look at this drama we've made that's apparently based on true events, and we've totally diverted who it's about.
And we're referring to it as a fucking documentary.
And now the
the
government's referring to it as a documentary, and then within a couple of weeks, this comes out that it was paid for with taxpayers' money. For 4 years, they took 3.4 million through this charity that's also holding events called How to Be a Boy, Conversations with Men.
Let me tell you, unbelievable.
I'd just like to note as well, on Reform UK's thing, it says like Reform will fix it, like Jim will fix it.
Are you going to vote Reform at the next election?
I might fuck voting anyone, Michael. It all leads to AI. I'm not voting anyone.
Reform your AI.
But it says fix it, Reform will fix it. Same as like Jim will fix it on the on their little tagline.
That's quality. Speaking of quality, this is the first meme tonight from You've Been Nudged. A lovely piece of work. Are you a misogynist? This sort of feminist woman barking at this little toddler, this little boy. It's all about an attack on masculinity. It's all about an attack on the classic role as the male. You know, it's the embodiment of this toxic feminist third wave intersectional douchery. It's all coming to a head now, though, isn't it? Like we're now seeing it play out. Before, I always said this. It's like you could watch it on the screen and it happening in America or it happening on the internet. But now it's sort of like happening in real life for us because
in real time,
because people are watching a Netflix. Then within a week, the Prime Minister's talking about it, you know, and there's something ready to go to fix the problem. what you doing?
I'm putting this solution on that. This is the solution. This is it. This is what's set up to be the solution.
Oh, this is going to be the
and he's got his fix it. The same as Jim will fix it.
Reform will fix it. I love it how the arrow is pointing right as well.
Yeah, to the far right.
As far as you could go.
But this is it. But the common denominator is your man Nigel Farage, and all of them support Israel. It's going to lead to the same technology which is going to be employed over here that Reform will implement is guaranteed exactly the same technology that Donald Trump will implement in the US, and it's surprise, surprise, all from fucking Israel.
This AI Schwab necklace will be the only thing that can protect us from the boatmen. Everyone needs to have this. That's what they're going to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
This, you know, there's so much of a security breach because of the weaponized Soros Vikings that have been employed for so long.
That's it.
They're
undocumented. We don't even know who they are.
A Faragian digital ID.
Faragian. Nice.
Or something like that. Right, where were we? Okay.
So, a Faragian DI.
Right, remember last week when we were searching for the perfect meme?
Mate, you've got to work that into a lyric. A Faragian DI. Digital ID.
I will do my best. I'll do my very best.
For May the 2nd. That's for you, Rich Rider. You listen out for it.
So, last week we were looking for a boatman meme, and we couldn't find anything.
I mean, we could find stuff, but this one stood out.
You know that you've been known. She now watches the show.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really, yeah.
Yeah. So now you've got to remember when
I would take my hat off in such presence if I wore one.
Like we make requests, and we make sort of like we just sit on a Friday going, oh, what about if we had this? That would be good. Or we talk about fresh concepts, and then they appear. I'd like to hear
almost
from
like
you,
magic, Michael.
Yeah, it's almost it's high grade memetics.
Abavrizian magic.
Abavrizian meme magic. So a Netflix original series, why incel boys invade our shores, towns and cities, create grooming gangs in a new Netflix drama. You've been nudged. You were killing it on this meme. Absolutely destroying it. Let's go for the next one. Oh, this one's even better.
Oh, mate, this was brilliant. When you sent me this,
we talked about this prison last week as well. They've got to have watched the show last week. You know it's happening.
This is really good.
The meme cycle has just been... You know, we talked about this before. We almost made a whole show about the meme cycle.
Yeah, we did. Mate, I actually watched 2 documentaries since last show about Seacot, that prison.
What,
it's fucked up,
in Venezuela?
It's fucked up. No, in El Salvador.
Oh, sorry.
It's fucked up. Yeah. It's fucked up. The Empress has entered.
Hi, baby. All right.
Yeah, it's fucked up. Where they're going there, it's a legit prison, but whether they're sending the American peasants there.
The American presence. Yeah. So this is an El Salvadorian.
The American president shipping off the peasants.
Well, you know, Trump, the Orange Messiah, is claiming that he's sending like the numbers gangs. And like, you know,
MS-13, Borrow 18,
and the rest of them to this place, which may or may not be happening. And then the left is saying that he's sending anyone that he's rounding up off the street that hasn't got the correct papers to these El Salvadorian prisons.
Mate, they literally walk around, the military and the police in El Salvador, like putting you up against a wall and telling you to take your shirt up and see if you've got any tattoos. And if you've got tattoos like MS-13 or Borrow 18 tattoos, they'll literally handcuff you, throw you in a pickup truck, and then investigate you later.
It's a bit like in the Philippines,
that
Duterte guy who's just about to fall out of power, but he's been in power for like quite a long time now, and he was like, I'm gonna. The Philippines had a big crystal meth problem, really bad, and lots of guns in the Philippines.
Yabba.
Right? But the problem is there's also lots of guns as well. And when he came in, it was such a problem. He was like, listen, I'm going to clean up the streets, all of these drug addicts. If you want to make some money, go into the funeral game because I'm going to supply the bodies. That's what he literally said on his opening speech as he was inaugurated to be president. And apparently, because I follow some Filipino fighters, apparently he has sort of done that. Although, obviously, anyone that had anything to do with anyone that was doing drugs might have got rounded up and never seen again.
Mate, this is a Peasantron video, Michael.
Yeah.
In the works.
President Duterte.
But yeah, the dude running El Salvador, the president, like, he is not fucking around over there. It's serious shit.
Well,
and
they
if
had to do
Trump
something.
has now allegedly, what it appears so, is linked up with him and sending the illegal immigrants there. Imagine what it would take for the UK. Like the dude said, Nigel Farage, that he was chatting. He put up a post. Somebody put up a post saying that they spoke to somebody like high up in the Navy or the military, and they said they could stop all these boats in 48 hours if they were asked to. They could stop it all. No one would be getting it. And they said in 48 hours it'd be done. No one.
Yeah, we have a Ministry of Defence. They can't even defend the fucking border.
I said this.
It's been allowed. It's obviously being allowed to happen.
I said this on last week's show. Like, we pay as peasants. Some of our taxes goes towards the military, whether it be the Navy, the Army, whatever. So they should be like actively protecting our borders and not letting these boats through. But they are. They're being told to. Imagine being an order follower and like knowing that you should be there, especially in the Navy. And knowing you should be out there in the waters.
You've probably got mates that are homeless as well because they got treated like shit when they left the armed forces.
And you're still taking that fucking paycheck.
And then
you're disgusting.
You're basically like shipping boatmen into like 4-star hotels.
Where your family are, where your family live, and you've probably got children growing up. You are utterly disgusting at the highest possible level.
God, this
in
show
your
is
soul.
going so right-wing, isn't
it? You are disgusting. That's you, military and police, Coast Guard and RNLI, all of you.
Yeah, especially the RNLI. Don't ever give
All
money.
of you.
Never ever give money to the RNLI.
The individuals driving the RNLI boats and handing out the life jackets to these militant Islamic retards, like, you're the ones to blame. You directly.
But obviously the mainstream media will tell you that don't worry about the boatmen. Don't worry about how full those hotels are with radical mariners from some of the worst places in the world. What you need to be worried about, comrades, is Jamie, the 13-year-old boy from a detached house with a mum and dad and a stable life, who's been blackpilled in the manosphere
by Andrew Tate
and Jordan Peterstein. That's what you need to be scared of, comrades.
I read a report: 33 million people in Britain are mentally ill. No, they're not.
That will make a great little short. Yeah, so listen, they're going full steam ahead with this, and you know, for anyone that watched the show last week, I brought it up. Many people probably didn't know what I was talking about. It hadn't really become that prevalent. Now, it might be my personal Al Gore, but everywhere I look, there's just something about this. Have you noticed it online?
Mate, it's everywhere.
It's literally fucking everywhere,
unfortunately,
isn't it? I'm not exaggerating.
For some reason, my Instagram feed has gone full anti-Semitic. My Rumble feed...
I can't believe that. What could have caused that?
Really anti-Semitic. All I'm getting is Jew hate at the moment. Anti-Black Cube propaganda.
I suppose you're going in pro-black...
It's everywhere, honestly.
Pro-Black Sun propaganda at the stage. So, yeah, look, beyond...
Careful, Michael. Careful.
Beyond Andrew Tate... the imitators who help promote misogyny online. So Jordan Peterstein, I don't know who this guy here on the right is. Does Jordan Peterstein really promote misogyny? The only thing he's legitimately done to piss off the weirdos is he's called out the whole trans thing and the pronouns. Misogyny? I don't think so. It's just so bait. But, you know, this was always coming. This is quite predictable. It goes deeper, though, because this Gaslighting Gilligan on the left here, they're on Twitter as well. They're quite good. They do some really nice parody stuff of the mainstream media. How do we stop this big kid becoming a monster? Actually, I don't know if this is a parody or not. I think this is actually real. When's this from? Can't see a date on it, but it looks from an Australian newspaper where a similar-looking kid... It is, you know, how do we stop this kid becoming a misogynistic, like, woman-murdering monster? BBC Newsnight. I hope that means we can use this moment to provoke this government to consider quite serious change. Jack Thorne, co-writer of Adolescence, discusses Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer's mentioning the Netflix drama in Parliament today. So in Parliament... separate occasion, Keir Starmer's talking about it all over every single media outlet. Adolescence creators want the show aired in Parliament.
Mate, they want it.
They
I
want
don't
not-
want to ruin your Schwab show.
Yeah. I'm trying to go one stage at a time here. They want to show it in Parliament. When was the last time that anything was recommended to be shown in Parliament? It's such a must-see. Every MP's got to watch it.
Do you remember when
in
you were
Parliament.
at school? Like there would occasionally be that day where you'd go into like a history lesson. The teacher might be like hungover or something, or just having a bad day. Maybe they got in an argument with their fella, and they'd just roll in a TV and put on a something for you to watch for the,
I remember
for the
those
lesson.
are the best
Like,
lessons.
maybe that's like this. They're just rocking that up into the Houses of Parliament just to
Yes.
give to the kids.
Yeah.
Just to make
watch this. This
get
will
that in there. Yeah.
That'll pass the time. So here we go. I went to the government website. Downing Street opens doors to adolescence creators for vital discussion on protecting our children. The Prime Minister met with adolescence creators, charities and young people to discuss the issues raised in the series during a meeting focused on rethinking adolescence safety today. This is 31st of March, 4 days ago.
During the season of sacrifice.
During the season of sacrifice. So now that the government has already got it on the website that these people are going to be, that wrote this fiction that's supposed to be based on some things that it's not, as soon as you say it didn't look like that kid that did what you said.
Well,
you
it
get
didn't,
what I'm saying?
did it? Yeah.
No, the kid that did murder someone.
He was a knife-wielding maniac.
Yeah, he was a knife-wielding maniac who was like, who had been watched and had a knife problem, and he did. Let's just say he didn't look like the kid in adolescence, and there's no evidence to say he was listening to Andrew Tate, who I'm pretty sure has never said go out and murder anyone. He just try and be a badass, so you're not a loser, surely. So yeah, the government are lapping this up, obviously, because they paid for it with our tax money. Cheers for that. Boom. You've been nudged. Given the hype and political hysteria surrounding the Netflix drama Adolescence, what would the proposed anti-misogyny lessons for boys only actually look like?
Are you aware of what this meme's depicting? Why it was made? I know it's depicting like a drag queen story hour, but do you know why they've chosen the school? I don't know what other slides you've got here about this because I haven't seen this.
Well, I don't
are you
think I've got a
aware?
particular slide.
Are you aware that the UK government, Queer Starling himself, met with the producers from the Netflix show, and this is going to be shown up and down the country in every school now. Yeah. So, like, obviously, you've been nudged.
That's what they're saying. As a part of this anti-misogyny lessons for boys, what will it actually look like? A black drag queen waving around an Andrew Tate book with some fucking spaghetti letters about toxic masculinity. Wow. I thought the comments were really funny. I had to screenshot here. Imagine trying to make a shitbag like Tate sympathetic by producing a dishonest Netflix show blaming him for an imaginary crime that basically proves Tate is CIA or some other three-letter faggotry.
Nice.
That was a badass comment. But You've Been Nudged came straight back. I withhold judgment on people the establishment is trying to smear. When he starts dropping bombs on innocent civilians, mandates experimental pharmaceuticals, or grinds us down into poverty, etc., like our leaders, I will start to scrutinise him more. Which is fair comment. Big shout out to You've Been Nudged. Yeah, so I thought this was just great. They're right. They've got their finger right on the pulse here. You've Been Nudged with the commentary on this. Next. I think, is this real or not? Boys to get anti-misogyny lessons after Stalin mistook the TV drama Adolescence for a documentary.
Mate, it's probably real.
No,
I know it's You've Been Nudged, but I mean the actual what's going on, it is actually real.
That's the thing. Where memes become reality.
Yeah,
absolutely. So, yeah, here we are. 23rd of March. Schools are set to give students...
Sorry, mate, I ruined this.
No, it's all right. It's okay. Schools are set to give students anti-misogyny lessons in the wake of hit TV Netflix show Adolescence, about a teen boy who murders a female classmate. The classes form part of the government's new Relationships, Health and Sex Education, RHSE, guidance. Okay. So that's a pretty quick turnaround. Adolescents come out, and within 1 week, it's changing government policies, and by the end of the year, that will actually bled down into the curriculum in all schools.
God, what's happening with Rise Above? Well, we would have to do a week's work.
Yeah,
just do a couple of shows and then off we go.
But you know what I'm saying? Normally, to make some sort of change to the networks in the administrative forms, say education, politics, anything, usually takes quite a long time to get changes through. But when it's important, they'll just go bang, change it straight away.
Well, I think it's important to mention that we've got a fully socialist government in control of things. Why wouldn't they rush stuff through?
And obviously, the main threat to society when it comes to violence, stabbings, murders, rape, and violence against women, the number one threat in our society is 13-year-old middle class incels. Jamie.
Poor Jamie.
Yeah. Right.
He was targeted directly by Andrew Tate.
So let's look a little bit more at this Tinder company that seems to they've got a little heart for their logo.
Not quite
here.
Tinder, guys.
Yeah, it's not Tinder.
Tinder.
This is from the 13th of March. So I guess this is when it first came out, pretty much, because we're talking, 3/4 weeks ago now, 13th of March. Both girls and boys are at serious risk. Tinder screened Netflix adolescents. Tinder screened, that sounds weird. Sounds weird. Starring and co-created by Stephen Graham, Adolescents tells the story of a 13-year-old boy, Jamie Miller, who is arrested for the violent murder of a teenage girl. So you can see that this charity is obviously really a part of it. It's giving you the philanthropic background to the media production in real time as it's created. And this is where they've chased that 3.4 million through taxpayers' money to pay for this. Family Education Trust. The fact that Tinder has resources ready to go into classrooms shows the moral panic surrounding adolescents was planned. Yes, 100%. Why is Queer Stalin making educational policy with TV scriptwriters? Producers.
It's a good question.
It's a very good question.
Very good question.
Let me ask that again. Why is Queer Stalin making educational policy with TV scriptwriters, producers, and a charity with a vested interest in getting its content into every school? Highlighted, Tinder will produce guides and resources which will be available through the Interfilm Plus streaming service alongside the Netflix show. A roundtable discussion convened by the Prime Minister, so Queer Stalin. So these are just some screenshots about
into Film Plus streaming.
It's sort of like a Netflix type piece of technology.
Yeah, or it can go when it gets upgraded directly into your Neuralink.
Yeah,
that's what Film Plus
tenderly
yeah.
into your frontal lobe. Tinder will produce guide. Oh, here it is. A roundtable discussion with Sir Queer Stalin, which represents from Tinder as well as Adolescents co-creator Jack Thorne and producers, etc., etc. Yeah, so this is from their website, just from their point of view as well. What else have we got? Liz Truss, who is a former member of Parliament. The Prime Minister will have a national discussion on a fictional drama about a teenage boy, but will not have a national inquiry on tens of thousands of girls being raped and tortured by majority Pakistani heritage gangs. Where is his moral compass?
That is so far right.
That is so racist.
So far right racist thing to say. You are not allowed in this current climate.
So far right and racist. So the Prime Minister backs calls to have Netflix drama Adolescents, which follows the story of a 13-year-old boy arrested for suspicion of murdering a female classmate, to be shown in schools across the country. So Liz Truss is a conservative, I guess.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Jonathan Wong says, why, you ask? Warp Films, who produced Adolescents, and Tinder, the firm pushing the PR for the show, are both part government funded. So we've got Tinder, the charity, and also Warp Films. These are the two names.
To warp your mind, Michael.
Number 9 Films, Warp Films, Good Chaos secure funding from UK Global Screen Fund. So what is the UK Global Screen Fund? Stephen Woolley and Elizabeth Carlson's Number 9 Films, Sheffield-based production, Warp Films, along 25 companies to receive a total of 2.1 million in the latest awards from the UK Global Screen Fund. Total income from 2 government contracts for tender, 579,000, and another 400,000 from government grants. So these are basically like government-backed agencies.
It's just
companies.
It's so retarded. Honestly.
It's so like Soviet Union, isn't it? If you think about it.
We are literally in control of a Bolshevik ideology. That is what is in control of the UK right now.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's literally Bolshevik to a T.
The planned, calculated destruction from within of our own society
With the use of technology.
Yeah, with the use of technology and high-grade weaponized.
The Bolsheviks back when they did the Christian genocide, like they would have only dreamt of having the technology that we've got these days.
Yeah. Okay, so what else has this tender been up to? Look at this. A poster created at a school tender visited with the hashtag primary schools. What are the primary age children meant to make of "My body belongs to me, boundaries are key"? Looks like this charity also pushes
the Rainbow Mafia agenda.
What?
Clearly. And here on the right, Michael, you've got the pyramid of sexual violence.
So
the pyramid.
So at the very top, this is from Tender, acting for healthy relationships. The pyramid of sexual violence. At the bottom, you've got things like locker room banter, rape jokes.
Shout out to Donald Trump.
Strict gender roles, bragging, victim blaming, slut shaming, and boys will be boys. Remember, that is only 1, 2, 3, 4. That's only 5 steps away from genocide.
Wow, that is
according to this chart.
So, guys, if you're doing any of these things, you are literally just 5 mere steps away from actual genocide.
So, being a lad at the bottom here is the bottom run, and that comes under attitudes and beliefs.
That's like smoking a bong at school.
Yeah. The next is the normalization of violence, and that includes things like non-consensual exposure, so being a flasher, catcalling, which really should be down at the bottom, non-consensual photo sharing, leering, following, and revenge porn. One more stage up into the removal of autonomy, groping, sexual coercion, stalking, non-consensual touch, dosing, I guess that means like date raping. Then above that...
So on those 2 levels, so you've done your bong in high school at the bottom. You've just discovered speed and cocaine in the next 2 levels. And now we're moving on to, I'd say crack. Well, I'd say this is the top level.
And then fentanyl,
at the top. Yeah. That's what I'd say.
But I think, physical expressions of violence, femicide, murder, homicide, gang rape, and war rape.
I think we missed out a level there, Michael.
We did, but like, okay. So
sexual abuse,
right,
exploitation, sexual assault,
covert condom removal.
Covert condom removal. Violations and safe word.
What about covert birth control removal on the female side? They wouldn't put that there, would they?
No.
Yeah, so
it could work both ways. She could whip it off.
Yeah, maybe she was wearing a condom.
No, she could whip the male condom off.
That's a good point.
It is a good.
There is a female condom too, of course.
Yeah, of course.
So I think we might skip over this rainbow. Rights are important. It makes things fair. I have rights to be myself. How amazing is this poster created by Goresbrook school students as part of Reset? Look at that. Through your creativity, they're sharing a powerful message. Every child has the right to be happy. So as you can see, Tender is not just about attacks on masculinity and pushing this like retarded, weaponized feminist bullshit. They're even like doing some rainbow stuff over here too.
I think it's
they're
important
talking about resets.
I think it's important to note as well. We've got war rape. In the second to top column there.
But all you need to know is if you're doing things like locker room banter and you're enforcing strict gender roles, you're only 5 steps away from genocide. That's the important thing to remember.
You need to take that away from this, guys. Study the diagram. What we've got here, Michael, from the Irish Patriot, Queer Starling. Is it true what I'm hearing? The founder of Tender, the charity working with Netflix to provide educational materials for the documentary, in inverted commas, adolescence, that you are pushing into schools is your ex-girlfriend and Casey at Matrix Chambers.
So Queer Starling's ex-missus is heavily involved in this.
It's probably a dude.
Which we'll come on to in a sec. Adolescence is the only drama but being used to distract us from the real issue. The company called Tender pushed for it to be shown in schools. Tender was founded by Starmer's ex-girlfriend, barrister Philippa Kaufman. That's a very prominent Cubish name.
Yeah, very. Very Cubish.
There's a list here of... I'm not going to go into all this. This is Charlotte Gill, who found a lot of these Tender receipts. She's talking about the money they're putting in to try and tell you who the problem is, and then with some statistics about the real problem there. Sadiq Khan launches 1 million toolkit to teach young London children about healthy relationships. So that's Tender again. They're a healthy relationships government think tank. Mr. Khan said it's important to reach children before they start seeing the content from individuals like Andrew Tate online. Oh no, not Andrew Tate. Wow. Sex education should be as important as maths inside the radical new relationship workshops in London schools. Last month, Sadiq Khan launched 1 million anti-sexism toolkit for secondary schools in the city. Katie Strick attends a workshop to see how the students and staff are responding. So this is the woman, this is the Kaufman. Tender Arts has just got the government contract to show adolescents in schools. Tender Arts was founded, she's the founder, Philippa Kaufman. She is Starmer's ex before his wife, Victoria Alexander. They're a charity organisation that's dedicated to using art and drama to promote respect, compassion and equality. She looks dead behind the eyes.
Is that Kaufman?
That's Kaufman.
Surprise, surprise. I just Googled Kaufman and I've got the Jewish news come up. There's an article. I'm just going to check it out on Wikipedia first. No, that's Philip Kaufman.
So remember, it's not... The problem isn't...
In Wikipedia, Jewish news, right?
Roadmen with man bags. The problem isn't boatmen with radical ideas. The problem is definitely... where's a picture of him? Kids like this. Yeah, that misogynists like this. This is what Kaufman, who founded the charity, is telling us. What have you got there?
I'm just reading Kaufman has been she's been campaigning for anti-Semitism.
Oh right, okay. all of Queer Starlin's female handlers are whoish, aren't they? They're all black Cubans.
Yeah. They're all Q-boys, Michael. I'd be worried if they weren't at this point.
Okay, anyway, well, it's 11 o'clock. It's 11 o'clock. Let me just finish with this killer meme from... it's a Queer Starling meme from You've Been Nudged. Absolutely killing it with these memes. So you've got all your knuckle-dragging right-wingers at the top, just with their England flag saying, save our kids. They're bad. And then you've got a load of masked youngsters throwing statues of old...
I think that's BLM tards.
Yeah, BLM tards, I'm pretty sure. I think that's in Bristol, actually. Yeah, shout out to You've Been Nudged. And finally, I'll just end with this thought. Donald Trump, starting on Monday, I'm ending dual citizenship under the Espionage Act, and all these traitors will be denaturalized and deported to the country they came from. No exceptions. America is for Americans, not all these foreigners who hate our country and don't even pay taxes. I guarantee there is one group of people he's not going to do that to. They're dual
nationals. Of course it's not, Michael.
They won't be they won't be treated as foreigners. And again, some massive hypocrisy from the orange man on the right here. No free trade with US without free speech. Stalin has been warned. Stalin's hopes for avoiding tariffs may hinge on a case of a pro-life activist arrested for peaceful protest. I believe this happened in Scotland. I might be wrong on that, but it happened in the UK somewhere. And Trump has weighed in on this. And he's talking about free speech. Well, he's literally locking people up for criticising Israel. Q Tracks. He says, good job I moved back to the UK by the sounds of it.
Yeah, great move.
Also, I need
total dick move, man.
I need to address that person that you thought was calling Matt Landman a shill earlier on was apparently talking about someone completely different in the chat.
Yeah, so we take it back, Gigi. We will always hold our hands up here.
Sorry, Gigi.
And if that's the case, if you were calling him a shill, then that's fine as well. You're entitled to do that.
Okay, all right. So we're going to wrap it up there, but we are going to remind you that tickets for the next weekender, the bank holiday weekend, 22nd, 23rd, 24th. Some people already booked 5 nights in the hotel. Ramish community is taking over Hotel Celebrity in Bournemouth once again. Martin Leakey, Flat Earth British, Wisdom of Mushrooms doing Raw Academy. We're gonna have Digital Nomad Raw Academy. I've got a couple of other names I'm almost ready to release. There's going to be so much
Lance
more.
is going to try his best to put the Rise Above band back together.
Let me tell you, unbelievable.
We will be back in a couple of weeks. Even when we're not going live, there's always a Rise Above show on a Friday night, and we usually make a little recorded video to go in there too. So, guys, I'm going to end by playing once again.
Subscribe to our Patreon as well, guys.
Yeah. Don't forget about Patreon, please, because you get
so much more raw.
So much more raw. We'll be recording more videos on Wednesday night for Patreon.
Lashings of raw.
Lashings of raw. See you guys in a few weeks.
What's your name? How are you? What are you doing
Hi,
here?
I'm
Amazing.
Fifi.
Yeah.
I'm from Swanage, just over the water over there.
Yep.
Met up with these guys a few years ago through Magix, who I'm friends with his mum, and they all came together through music, and then we had a meeting of minds.
Rules, regulations, improbable laws. Rules, regulations, no just cause. The bust an immovable object become an unstoppable force.
Greasing codes, greasing codes, greasing codes, greasing codes inside the Leviathan, inside the Leviathan. They make the rules, they make the rules, they make the rules, but we got the game plan. Greasing codes, greasing codes. Greasing codes inside the Leviathan. Bear witness to this phenomenon. A clear sickness as it's coming on. That's their business. So I carry on beating my fists on the walls of Babylon. And it's vicious. If you're a vagabond in the British Isles, it ain't Avalon. The ambitious escape to the Amazon. Life is malicious, climbing the echelon. So we gotta break them chains, do personal best and make them gains. It's a hurtful mess. So abstain from eternal threats on a long campaign. Enough stress, but we don't complain, and I'm hopeful. So I won't refrain from a global test. Gotta maintain on a mobile flex with no disdain. Greasing codes, greasing codes. They make the rules, they make the rules, they make the rules, but we got the game plan. Greasing codes inside the Leviathan, inside the Leviathan. We're up against an immovable object. Greasing codes, greasing codes. They make the rules, they make the rules, they make the rules, but we got the game plan. Greasing codes, greasing codes. Up against an immovable object, placing bets on illusional odds set. Yo, it's cruel from the onset, killing you slow is the usual project. Still thriving despite the drawbacks. Ill writing, designing formats. This life gotta ride it raw back. The mind's climbing, not wiping the floor mat. Greasing codes inside the Leviathan, keeping watching the ice conspiring. Catch wind, sound up the siren. Fuse the flames in the furnace is firing. Not expiring, expanding. Inquiring to gain understanding. A fall from the top equals a crash landing. Don't get fooled by the devil's rebranding. Greasing codes, greasing codes. They make the rules, they make the rules, they make the rules, but we got the game plan. Greasing codes inside the Leviathan. We're up against, they make the rules, they make the rules. Greasing codes, greasing codes. They make the rules, greasing codes. They make the rules, they make the rules, but we got the game plan. Greasing codes inside the Leviathan. Greasing codes. They make the rules, they make the rules. Greasing codes. They make the rules, but we got the game plan. You ain't with it, get out the way, man. Short-sighted, take off the Ray-Bans. Sourcing ethical goods, not name brands. No bait plans, we execute. Blueprints get comb with a fine tooth. The control system is not absolute. Revealing the truth is the way to recruit the youth. Collating a man to the proof while they're stacking a man to the lies. Cracking the code is eternity striving. Like drinking the fountain of life. Like a rhythm that I'm already riding. Aiming to bring down the house in tonight. The mic's hidden with imminent rising. When I draw this, run for your life. Greasing codes, greasing codes, greasing codes, greasing codes inside the Leviathan. Greasing codes, greasing codes, greasing codes inside the Leviathan. The Leviathan. Greasing codes. They make the rules, but we got the game plan. Greasing codes, greasing codes inside the Leviathan. They make the rules, but we got the game plan. Greasing codes, greasing codes.
Catch you later and I'll roast shapes from the dogs.
report of a plane crash in the World Trade Center in New York.
Outside Liverpool Street Station.
11 people have been confirmed dead in an attack on the controversial French satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo. 5 people are in critical condition.
Have been killed in Paris and more than 200 are injured in a series of attacks across the city.
There have been 2 explosions at Brussels airport and a blast at the city centre Metro station.
It's double L, you've heard of me, the flow's poison, liquid mercury. Hear my voice when I curse this beat, I let it moisten before surgery. Guilty as charged, repeat offender, for revealing elitist agenda. Still at large, delete the data, success or defeat or retreat or surrender. And I can't let go, killer artist Charlie Hebdo. That's a false flag, actors in tow, and they blame Islam for the media show. 2 weeks later, Copenhagen, could it be bait of these global pagans? These traitors feed off people hating, so nothing's changed. Guilty as charged, repeat offence. My arse is back on the bench, the prosecution speaks my offensive views of my former defence, so hence saw the wheat from the chaff, the covert conflicts, rearranged maps, government funded, hidden bloodbath, there is misinformation, way off the graph. So seek out multiple sources, be beware of malevolent forces, they steer clear minds off courses, hold your orbit strong like a fortress, on operating a lawless state, the internet's like an open gateway, I gain knowledge at raucous rates that I disseminate with flawless pace. Weapons of mass distraction, fired by warring factions, fearful thoughts gain traction, step 1 in a chain reaction. Weapons of mass distraction, fired by warring factions, that's a direct action, breaking down on human attraction.
Not really free your mind, it's free yourself from mind. That's why society is structured to completely engross us in things to occupy our mind. Open your mind.
There's a war going on for our minds, for our attention, for our lives, and it keeps going on because we remain blind. The system is shoveling shit in our eyes. Consume this, watch that, or anything on a big screen that's flat. Distractions come in many formats. Time is one thing you never claw back. Weapons of mass distraction, fired by warring factions. Fearful thoughts gain traction. Step 1 in a chain reaction. Playing GTA, well, you're flushing the focus away. I'm cruising through this breathing illusion. Why do I need your game to play? This is real, are you feeling me? It's all vice in the city, no liberty. Put down the Xbox controller when I bust a verbal soliloquy. Weapons of mass distraction, fired by warring factions. That's a direct action, breaking down on human attraction. There's no need for a power up, I discharge my aura. Climb a mountain, cross a border, attack an in a mind explorer. I want a PSC, a teleporter, to a land with no structural order. No distractions from warring factions, leading people like lambs in the slaughter. Weapons of mass distraction, fired by warring factions. Fearful thoughts gain traction, step 1 in a chain reaction. See me, I write about issues, you wipe joy pads with tissues. Unconsciously moving along while your awareness is stuck in situ. For your mind is a major misuse, you're online, settling disputes. In a deathmatch, throwing a smoke grenade, I'm in a sound clash smoking big suits. Weapons of mass distraction, fired by warring factions. Fearful thoughts gain traction, step 1 in a chain reaction. Weapons of mass distraction, fired by warring factions. That's a direct action, breaking down on human attraction. Weapons of mass distraction, fired by warring factions. Fearful thoughts gain traction, step 1 in a chain reaction. Weapons of mass distraction, fired by warring factions. That's a direct action, breaking down on human attraction.
So the spirits come along and they say to me, you have to go into the jungle and you're going to drink ayahuasca. So I went into the jungle, I found a shaman, and I drank ayahuasca. And during that first ceremony, I found my apprenticeship.
As we tear down Babylon, brick by brick, piece by piece, wash them to smithereens. Over beats, double L.
I came to this jungle looking for the shaman, to learn knowledge, to get trained. I got questions, need explaining. Who manifests these spells we are making? We talk for days, the words were spoken. The third eye's wide open. My 7 chakras awoken. Then the Babylon spell got broken. Come to the jungle, now I'm the shaman. Draw for the power of thunder, rain. It's no mortal combat. I won't draw for swords, I'm not on that. Why? The vibration's high. Can't test I and I speak to the Buddha and Rastafari. When we chat to the prophet, it's all no lie.
With the shame I smoke with the Rasta, learn from the prophet, teach the pastor. They go stop the same master. Too many questions, one answer. With the shame I smoke with the Rasta, learn from the prophet, teach the pastor. They go stop the same master. Too many questions, one answer.
Deep in the jungle, knees in the dirt, next to the tribal leader. Speaking the words of the healer, I'm feeding the words. Seeking the teacher vine, mimosa creeper, M-A-O-I inhibitor. Elio vine can't mimic us, safe for mixtures, boiled in vinegar. Recipe taught by ancient visitors. Feet on the ground, I feel like I'm slipping away. When my eyes look through to the clearing, the sun beats down and my face is burning. What's that in my peripheral hearing? Ingesting the chemical gateway, exiting the physical plane. Inspecting the neural pathway, assessing the spiritual pain.
With the shame I smoke with the Rasta, learn from the prophet, teach the pastor. They go stop the same master. Too many questions, one answer. With the shame I smoke with the Rasta, learn from the prophet, teach the pastor. They go stop the same master. Too many questions, one answer.
Now, it's no joke to drink ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca, alright, boga. One dose, game over. Heart of the forest, chilling with the elders, learning customs of ancient cultures. Thematic technology. We fulfill the prophecy. No words describe this logically. Close both eyes, you might see properly. Wait, can you feel it? Hold it in before you release it. You got the key to revealing the secret. They tried hard to conceal it. Wait. How you feeling? Is it illusion? Is it the real thing? Seeing isn't always believing, hallucinating or lucid dreaming.
With the shame I smoke with the Rasta, learn from the prophet, teach the pastor. They go stop the same master. Too many questions, one answer. With the shame I smoke with the Rasta, learn from the prophet, teach the pastor. They go stop the same master. Too many questions, one answer.
The food is fake, the medicine's fake, the education system is fake. They want you fighting with the force in your head all day long so you never get a break. They know when you're meditating in the sunshine with big fruit sitting by the lake. They want you dumb down so you listen to Drake. They want the teenagers to all self. They ain't gonna give, they're always gonna take. They want you in as there's buying a steak. They ain't gonna share one slice of the cake. They ain't even gonna follow the rules they make. They ain't even gonna follow the rules they bring on the 1-4. You better know that I'm a king when they kill the indigenous to make us all prisoners. And that's the real reason I do my thing like breathe out, bullet, and breathe out, bullet, and breathe out, bullet when I spit. Breathe out, bullet, and breathe out, bullet, and the bullet still talking. Breathe out, bullet, and breathe out, bullet, and breathe out, bullet in the booth. Breathe out, bullet, and breathe out, bullet, and breathe out, bullet with the truth. Your food and your religion, I ain't gonna embrace that from a prison. If your curriculum teach our kids, they ain't gonna help us out one bit. No way they won't. They ain't gonna help us go. Don't watch that box, don't need the remote. Speaking of freedom, we need to revoke. Can't turn a blind eye, cause I see the assault like. Welcome to the Inspector Vet Show, where the NPCs get their head blown. You might see me with headphones, doing it big like Pac when they did it on the West Coast. 5 C's, I'm swimming in the river doing breaststroke. You know how the rest goes. As a dose sit straight from the shelf in Tesco's. Complex sugars and bread rolls. Beat that bullet, man, beat that bullet, man, beat that bullet when I spit. Beat that bullet, man, beat that bullet, man, the bullet still talking. Beat that bullet, man, beat that bullet, man, beat that bullet in the booth. Beat that bullet, man, beat that bullet, man, beat that bullet with the truth. I don't eat Kellogg's, I don't do covers. That's not me, that's more for the others. Stay healthy, well away from the hazards. Last 10 years I had so many salads. The Babylon concrete, it's a big challenge. Fast and free, what to find the balance. Thanks to the Most High for all the talents. Speak the truth, see what happens. Lose is better than herbs, that's stupid. Alcohol is like the news is. Hitchhikers make the choice who chooses. So we got ask who wins, who loses. Herbs is better than booze, that's my view. Don't let the group entice you. Stay well away like I do. Pure for the body, man, that's how I